Yesterday, my life was headed in one direction. Today, it is headed in another. You ever think the universe is against you? Fear, belief, love, phenomena that determine the course of our lives. These forces begin long before we are born and continue after we perish.
Our lives are not our own. We are bound to others, past and present. And by each crime and every kindness, we birth our future.
I will let you go again. I believe there is another world waiting for us, a better world. And I'll be waiting for you there.
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network. OutlawRadioNetwork.com.
All right, everybody, it's the Outlaw Radio Network. It is the 21st of February, 2024. Thanks for checking out the show. Hope everybody's having a good night, staying warm, staying dry. Or maybe you're not. I don't know. Meh. Wow. I guess I should. No, I'm muted.
That was me.
That was
you?
me.
All right, sorry.
Just checking. All right, just making sure. All right, Outlaw Radio. Paul's going to be joining us shortly. As you can tell, if you're watching the video stream, he's there, but he's not there. Or he's broadcasting live in the dark without pants, and now he's gone.
I'll bring him back in if I see movement.
Me, Black Tom, are in studio.
Good evening.
Phil is here. Dennis is here.
Excuse me, Bob Rock, remember?
I know. I've gotten away from calling you by your stage name. I
I keep getting outed. Jeez. They'll never let me in Paul's Before.
Oh, darn. What a shame. Paul joins us from the palatial St. Paul Estates. Hello, Pollywog.
Hey, brother.
What's going on, buddy?
It's a nice another liquid winter day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Did you pour concrete today? Guess not.
And he's gone. I don't really understand what he's doing.
He's not in the background either. Of course, his last session's still in the background, just hanging out.
Yeah. You know, the disadvantage to him living in the middle of BFE is that the internet in the middle of BFE is really bad. And he's back.
No.
Hello, Paul. What happened?
Hold on. Slow down. As Phil pointed out, my other session is still in the background, so I hear myself over and over and over again.
Oh.
So I'm trying to fix that.
Wait, did they give me two?
There, you're fixed.
Oh, the cheese curds. Okay.
Oh, now he's gone.
No, he's gone.
I kicked the other one out.
We are a well-tuned machine.
Well oiled.
You know, listen, it's not very normal for me to open the show and just want to get right to a topic.
Oh.
But I am literally on my last nerve tonight. There are very few things that happen in this nation that make me think that maybe I do need to move to Australia or Canada or New Zealand.
Or Venezuela.
Not Venezuela. No. The food is wonderful, but the government is a little weird. There's very few things that happen that make me think that maybe we can't be saved. And today, one of those stories broke my literal last nerve. And so I'm going to read this to you. And then for those of you that think this is not a big deal, I will then explode. Paul's back. And then I was just talking about a story that broke today that has my last nerve, Paul.
Has your last nerve?
It's broke my last nerve. I'm actually thinking about moving out of the country.
Okay.
Because I can't believe we've gone this far.
And Venezuela is high on this list.
Venezuela is not high on my list.
Listen, brother. I've been telling you for 23 years of slippery slope arguments where we hoped we weren't going, and goddamn if we didn't end up there.
Well, tonight, I think you can blame the Republicans for this one.
Fair enough.
I'm curious.
This story coming out of Alabama, of course, where men are men and sheep are terrified.
Oh, God, that joke doesn't work for Alabama, brother.
The University of, you know how you circumcise a boy in Alabama? You kick his sister in the teeth. Okay. Tooth. Yeah, tooth. That's why they called it toothbrush. The University of Alabama at Birmingham Health System has paused its in vitro fertilization treatment
Mm-hmm.
because of an Alabama Supreme Court ruling that has ruled that embryos are children.
Yep.
The decision makes UAB the first known organization in the state to confirm it's pausing this treatment.
Mm-hmm.
In an unprecedented ruling, the state Supreme Court said embryos are children no matter if they're within or out of a uterus, and those who destroy them can be held liable for wrongful death.
So why did you say I think you can blame Republicans?
Well, because this is a direct result of the state's anti-abortion laws.
No, it's not.
It is.
This is as a result of a case that was brought due to gross negligence in the IVF clinic.
Yes. But because of the way that the state of Alabama has written its anti-abortion laws and the protection
because it's a states' rights issue.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
But in their zeal to protect fetuses, which I get and I understand and I'm not knocking, they've written the law
I agree.
so vaguely that we have gone as a nation in the state of Alabama, okay, which is still using dial-up and outhouses. In the state of Alabama, we have gone from we want to protect fetuses, we want to protect unborn children, to now stopping people from being able to have children. Here's how the ruling will affect. Okay, let me explain.
Okay, I do. I want to hear what you're saying. Yeah, okay. I don't want to overjump the gun here.
I spent a lot of time researching this today. I wanted to make sure that my knee-jerk reaction was wrong, and it wasn't.
This is what
okay, gotcha.
This is while I was working, yes. So here's what the ruling means. Normally, when a woman decides she needs to conceive a child through in vitro, that means that they can't conceive normally. They will freeze many embryos.
I'm still here, by the way, so keep going.
Yeah, okay. All right. They will not freeze just one embryo. They will freeze many embryos. Mm-hmm. Potentially dozens, because you don't know how many times it's going to take to fertilize the embryos so that they'll actually work. Okay?
You are correct, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And normally what happens, if you're in any other state than Alabama, you unfreeze an embryo, you use it for the purpose of fertilizing and having a child. And then at some point you decide, I'm done having children. Maybe you've done one, maybe you've done multiple, but at some point you decide, I'm done. I no longer want to have any more children. And those embryos are then destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yes.
The ruling now means that if you have an embryo in Alabama and you decide you are no longer going to have children, you are forced, under the risk of prosecution or civil suit, to pay for the fertilization of those eggs indefinitely to your death and beyond, because there is no legal recourse under the current state law in Alabama as ruled by the Alabama Supreme Court, which is made up of a bunch of guys named Haas. There's no legal way to not do anything with the embryos. So you have
you are making a argument basically that is referring to unintended consequences. What you are saying, these are not consequences that are laid out anywhere. If these things occur, they are unintended consequences. Am I correct?
No, I think
so. Nobody is anybody arguing anywhere in the specifics of what you just said? Like, is anybody arguing that, hey, if you've decided you don't want to use these fertilized eggs, you must pay for keeping them on ice in perpetuity? Is anybody making that argument?
No, not under the Alabama Supreme Court ruling today.
I just wanted to verify that those arguments you're talking about actually aren't the arguments being made. They are your personal beliefs of the unintended consequences.
They are a direct result of the ruling, which the Alabama Supreme Court ruled today that embryos are children and as such may not be terminated without the risk of civil and or criminal suit. Again, it gets back to the state's ruling on abortion, right? And the way that their law is written, it is so vague in regards to protecting the fetus that the Supreme Court has now had to rule that rule to limit or stop abortions in Alabama, okay, now applies to an embryo which is not even fertilized and is frozen. and is not in the womb or in the uterus. And the court ruling essentially requires, this is not my argument, it essentially requires that the embryo cannot be destroyed.
Well, where is this? I didn't read that stuff in the opinion. So that's why I'm asking where this information is coming from. Is this something that you are perceiving as being the case? Is this something that somebody else told you was the case? Like where are these consequences coming from?
Yeah, because I think my question is, who has direction and control? I think the Supreme Court or Superior Court or whatever in Alabama is stating that the hospital system, who is at fault for negligence, they cannot destroy.
No,
I don't think it's just the parents.
So
cannot.
It is not just.
I'm there with Lori, and that's where I'm trying to kind of figure you out here, Kevin. So keep going. Sorry to mean to interrupt. Just
I also
no, it's good. That was good clarification. Thank you,
Phil's
Lori.
got a question as well. But go ahead, Tom.
Okay, well, I have a question in there about the timeline of things. Because I haven't studied anything about Alabama since Roe v. Wade went back.
There's nothing to study in Alabama.
I've actually been following some capital punishment stuff in Alabama.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a really good capital punishment story.
Roll Tide, right?
Yeah.
Whoa.
You know what capital punishment is? Being forced to live in Alabama.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
You can get the electric chair, or you can live in Tuscaloosa. Kill me. All right, go ahead, Tom.
What are the rules in Alabama regarding abortion? Are there any, or is it completely, absolutely
100% banned?
Not in the case of incest, rape, all that. So zero.
We're talking about Alabama. Incest is a population.
Oh my God, Lori. Oh my God, Lori.
Okay.
Yeah, Alabama is one of the most restricted states.
Yes, they are.
Abortion is completely banned with very limited exceptions. The state constitution, which is why the Supreme Court got involved, explicitly excludes abortion rights. And there's some other things.
Explicitly.
Go ahead, Phil.
All right, I'll bring up. Sean brings up the same thing I'm thinking. Not to nitpick, but we want to make sure we get the terms right. You were saying an embryo, but then you're saying it gets fertilized. Now, an embryo
is already fertilized.
It's already fertilized.
I'm not a doctor. I just put it on the radio.
And we're not trying to be semantic. We're just trying to make sure we get that right.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And I'm phrasing some things wrong.
Good point,
so
Phil.
For that, Sean. I appreciate that.
If we're dealing with a fertilized embryo, if we're intellectually honest, which is what I'll dream, I mean, Martin Luther, Martin Luther King had a dream.
I have a dream.
But anyway, I digress. If we're intellectually honest, we have a unique DNA entity here.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's at the extreme end of things, but that's intellectually honest, which is really rare to say for Alabama, right? I feel like they
Alabama family tree doesn't have branches, so yeah.
They need to figure out how to, unpack this.
Well, and Debbie brings up a good point. Could you not sign over custody of the embryos to the state or science?
Again, listen, you guys you ask great questions, but here's the problem, right? I like to take my embryo home and put it in my own freezer. It's my kid. That's right.
Corey, I love your humor. I really do.
And then somebody unplugged the freezer.
Oh my goodness.
Look, legit.
He already mentioned that.
And listen. And
first of all, that's not funny because I just did that on a job site and ruined about $300 worth of my customers' food. So
nice
that's
job.
not good.
How many embryos were in that freezer, Paul?
I don't know, but there was a lot of beef in there. So
here's the problem. Everybody asks really valid questions. Can you sign over custody? Can you store them yourself? And blah, blah. It's not the point. The point is we have gone. Listen, Democrats did this when abortion was legal. Okay, they went all the way off the crazy train. They were trying to get partial birth abortions. They were trying to get third trimester abortions. They were trying to give away abortions like Oprah giving away cars. You get an abortion, you get an abortion, you get an abortion, everybody gets an abortion. And then Republicans said, see, look, you guys have lost your minds. You've gone way too far. There is no reasonability in your argument. And that was what buoyed Republicans to get enough groundswell support behind them to really push this as the Supreme Court had to rule on it again. And then the Supreme Court made the right decision when they said this is a states' rights issue. Now, Republicans have gone way too far to the right. In Texas, you have to leave the state to get an abortion. Hold on. In Texas, if you leave the state to get an abortion, we're going to threaten you with charges. In Alabama, we're now going to restrict couples who may only be able to conceive through IVF. We're going to make it harder for them to conceive through IVF because of stupid legislation that's not written properly. And instead of trying to protect the unborn fetus, we're going to make it harder for people to have born fetuses. This pisses me off because this is the exact antithesis of what this country was supposed to be in the first place, which was reasonable, definitive, honest, intellectually honest, and we're not doing that.
When was the last time we did?
Well,
I mean, the whole abortion issue is not intellectually honest. You got one team that's like, it's a life. The other one's like, it's a choice. Like, they can't even agree on what the issue is.
Yeah, this country.
We came up with. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
This country has been intellectually honest about its lawmaking in, I would argue, at least 50 years.
Okay.
Then,
I mean,
Jimmy,
if we're intellectually
vote for me,
honest,
I'll give you peanuts.
I mean, we find people that take a middle ground on this, but I don't know when we have to it's compromise, right?
Abortion is a very hard compromise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're either letting it live or you're killing it. You know what I mean? It's a very hard compromise to have, regardless of where you stand on the issue.
What if we do a kind of a historical compromise? Like 3 out of 5 of the embryos have to be implanted, but the other 2, we'll call it the 3/5 compromise.
Look,
still too soon.
Look, Dred Scott.
Stop
it, Dred Scott. Paul, what were you going to say?
I'm still trying to wrap my head around the 3/5 argument, because that shite was funny. Listen,
try selling that in the minority community. Good luck. Good luck looking into the black areas of Atlanta or of Tuscaloosa and being like, hey, remember that 3/5 rule that didn't work so well 150 years ago? We're going to bring that back in a different way. Good luck.
It's all in the delivery, because if they laugh, it worked. If they get out the pitchforks, run.
Go ahead, Paul.
How many?
I listen. This is the natural course of how laws go in this country now, right? Because things go from one extreme on one side to the other extreme on the other side, and then slowly there is a movement back to the middle, right? All we've seen now is a swing way to the right in Alabama and Alabama only on this particular issue, and it only came about because of a negligence lawsuit within one of the IVF centers. So remember, when these judges put forth a ruling, the ruling is based on the narrowness of whatever the suit is, right? This was the state Supreme Court ruling on this issue in this case, right? And so and again, I haven't read the entire opinion. I've only really skimmed over like the first 2 paragraphs. So I'm not even going to pretend that I'm right about my understanding. All I'm saying is that it was a narrowly tailored ruling in response to a lawsuit, and I'm going to have a hard time buying. Look, I get it where you're coming from, but it is a states' rights issue, and we can't say it's a states' rights issue, right? And then complain because the state has the right to have an opinion about it. So, other people are going to bring more lawsuits, and there will be more decisions based on this stuff. So
here's what we know. So let me give you what we know and what I believe. Okay. What we know is what you alluded to before, that the ruling was a response to a lawsuit. Basically what happened was somebody in a hospital setting was carrying frozen embryos.
Look, they dropped the dishes in the restaurant, okay?
They dropped the dishes, yeah. And that destroyed the embryos. And so they were sued for wrongful death.
Yeah.
And the Supreme Court essentially ruled that the embryos are children and the wrongful death suit can continue. Here's what we know.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't agree with this ruling at all, but continue. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what we know.
And I'm a pro-life guy.
Yeah. Here's what we know. We know that this will send liability costs through the roof, right? So at best, if you're going to hold these facilities responsible for protecting the unborn child, then their liability costs are going to go through the roof. And what is that going to do? It's going to increase costs for couples that want to pursue IVF. So it's going to take a very expensive process and make it even more expensive, which is going to punish those people who are poorer and want kids but can't afford the IVF process. So we know that. Because we know that liability does nothing but jack up the costs for everybody.
IVF is still not an affordable thing. So if you're low income, you're not getting that anymore.
I don't even mean lower income, though. What if you're middle class? This is going to outprice it for even middle class.
There is no middle class anymore.
Yes, there is. I'm middle class. Phil?
That's a whole nother issue. Nother issue.
We can see the opportunity here. We got these embryos that need, to find a womb. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's some lesbian couples that really want children, and they just lack the fertilization. There you go, adopt an embryo.
I can't with you, Phil. I can't
actually. Listen. Honestly, that's not a bad compromise.
No, it is.
It'll never happen. It'll never happen, but it's not a bad compromise.
The couples pursuing IVF are not doing IVF to give their babies away to everybody else. They don't want to be walking down the street and pass their own kid. It's for the purpose of them to have their own children.
Of course.
Here's what the
Kevin, you going from one extreme to the other, man, is just
here's what the Alabama Medical
Association. It's like my high school girlfriends.
Here's what the Alabama Medical Association said today. And again, they have a dog in the fight, so take it for what it's worth. They say it'll send liability costs skyrocketing, making fertility treatment prices prohibitive for many families. It could discourage medical providers from performing infertility treatments in fear of being held liable each time an embryo does not turn into a successful pregnancy. And it could mean, back to what I said before, parents will now be forced to pay for lifelong storage fees of embryos that will never be allowed to discard, even if they don't want any more children. This is the rub, right? This is oppressive government at its best.
I love you, Kevin, but you are so interpreting this.
I'm intelligent.
Go ahead.
Scholar. I'm a genius.
Listen, and you're a guy who. Never mind. I love you. Here's the thing, dude. Like you're taking. I'm willing to bet that the article that you are reading and taking this information from has a potentially left kind of leaning slant to it. Would I be correct?
Let me read to you one of the quotes from one of the justices. Alabama Supreme Court Judge Greg Cook said, and I quote, "No rational medical provider would continue to provide services for creating and maintaining frozen embryos, knowing that they must continue to maintain such frozen embryos forever or risk the penalty of a wrongful death act claim." That is from one of the judges on the Supreme Court involved in the ruling.
Yes, but that's a dissenting judge and somebody who's on the left.
Yeah.
Okay. Again, I love you, and I know this tactic because I've used it myself.
Hold on. We're going to break.
All
we'll
right.
continue this in a second. We'll check comments in the chat. Outlaw Radio. Frickin' Alabamans. Outlaw Radio.
Network.com.
One other rub I want to give to this, too. I want you to think about the patients that are in Alabama that have been undergoing IVF that have already frozen embryos. They are stuck in the middle now. Because at least at the facility in Alabama, University of Alabama at Birmingham, UAB, they have not a bad football team, by the way. They're going to change the name to the frozen embryos.
Too soon.
The people that are going through that hospital that have frozen embryos now cannot move forward with IVF treatments because the medical center has shut down their program. But they have embryos there that are frozen that have to be maintained under the Supreme Court. And the facility is not going to take the risk of letting those be destroyed for fear of a wrongful death act claim. Well, this is I don't know why you guys aren't more pissed. I am livid about this. There's very few things in this country that just flat piss me off. This is now one of them. Nuke Alabama.
Yeah, but it's just Alabama, and it is
Florida's looking at it.
Yeah, well, but it's consistent with the people who choose to live in Alabama.
This is not. Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
This is a ruling.
Yes.
This isn't a law. It's simply a precedent set in a ruling in a narrowly tailored lawsuit. You're acting like this is something that lawmakers created. This is not the case.
It is exactly.
It's just
the case.
not the.
Because if they
it's literally not. This is a Supreme Court decision.
If they had, well, okay, first of all,
State Supreme
Court. But Paul, listen, this is not.
Oh, no kidding! I didn't know that. Yes, of course I knew that.
But this is not just a ruling, because it can't go any higher than the state Supreme Court, because the issue with determining the ability to protect or not protect a fetus was handed off by the Supreme Court to the states. So now Alabama State Supreme Court will have the final verdict unless the legislature does something to fix it.
I think it has more to do with the storage, because Alabama doesn't have the correct storage facilities in state, so they ship them.
Well, yeah, they have igloo coolers and red Solo cups everywhere. This is Alabama, for Christ's sakes. I know,
but that's where this is stemming from. I just read through the opinion.
Storing frozen embryos in an igloo cooler on the back porch.
Hey, now, beer pong's okay.
No, wait a second. So if this is the case, if the storage facilities are outside of Alabama, this just became
Outlaw
federal.
Radio. We're coming back. Stay there. Outlaw Radio. Outlaw Radio. God, I cannot believe you guys are more mad.
No,
I don't believe these are being held outside of. I don't believe they're being stored.
Yeah, they are.
If it's
in the court case, it specifically is talking about the storage facilities are outside
of Alabama.
State. Yeah,
well, then it's going to. Yeah, then
and
it
so it
would
was
be
the
federal.
logistical shipping that became the issue, and so that's another issue with the ruling is that now you're talking interstate, which is federal.
It is federal. Phil.
Again, if we're being intellectually honest, perhaps. Oh, I'm sorry, Paul.
No, it's fine. I wasn't saying nothing. You're good.
I talk over people.
Go ahead.
The intellectual honest thing is now we have an opportunity to look at is IVF, is there a moral angle to this? I agree. It's really wonderful to help people who can't get children have children. But is there more to it to intellectually look at this? Honestly, is it worth a look? Or should the process of how IVF is done be looked at, and maybe it needs to be changed how we handle it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all going to have to be reviewed for change, right? Here's what has me so pissed off. And listen, I've never had to do IVF. My little sperm are ample. Okay, I literally, the wall of Jericho would be victim to my man fertilization efforts. Okay,
they would march around for 7 days.
March around for 7 days, and then they would sound horn. They'd sound horn. Anyway. My issue with this is we rail on this show corporately, nationally about the overreach of government.
Mm-hmm.
This is such grotesque overreach.
It's not government.
But it is government. It's Alabama's government. It's the way in which their laws are written.
It's the courts. And it's the Supreme Court in the state of Alabama. And I don't know how further to explain this to you. All it did was set a precedent. And it will remain that precedent until somebody else comes along with a different lawsuit and sets a new precedent. Mm-hmm. This is not a law put into place by the state legislature.
It's not case
law. It's simply another step in the swing to the other direction. Right. Like I'm sitting here as the pro-life, like really, really pro-life, like the Paul, shut up, you're a dude, you don't have the right to talk about this pro-life kind of guy. Right. And I'm saying that this entire law, right, the whole way that this came about, it came about as essentially a negligence and a wrongful death suit. Right. Mm-hmm. And you know what made it really wrong for me is the judge cited religion and his faith. Bad juju.
Did he really?
Bad juju. Absolutely, he did, and way out of line for that. Way out of line. That belongs nowhere. Yeah. That belongs nowhere in our legal vernacular, right? Well, God this or God that. That's why I'm going to rule this way on this law. Hold on, time out. No, right? So yeah. Look, everything about this decision was wrong, but it is what it is, and it will remain so until somebody resets the precedent with a new lawsuit.
Yeah.
Well, and if that's true about the judge taking a religious stance,
it's true. Yes.
Yeah. Then this precedent doesn't have a leg to stand on. It will last.
Yes, Tom, you are correct.
It will not last.
As soon as it's appealed, it'll be appealed on those grounds, and it'll be done.
Appealed to whom?
Whoever you can appeal.
It can't go any higher than the state Supreme Court.
Well,
are you sure about that, Kevin?
Yes. Yep.
And
it can. First of all, it can be challenged. It can go through. It can still go through appeals, and then it can go to the actual Supreme Court.
It can go to the federal Supreme Court because of the state line issue,
which falls under what? Anybody?
Federal.
Bueller? Federal? Bueller?
Well, again,
it's the Interstate Commerce Clause, probably.
Right. So I'm going to read this, and again, this is from CNN. So because I Googled this. So here's what they said on CNN. Take it for what it's worth.
And can I preface this all by saying I haven't read anything but it's a paragraph or two, so I'm totally flying by the seat of my pants. So go on.
They asked the question, could this go to the Supreme Court? Here's a response.
They say?
While the U.S. Supreme Court does have the power to review state top court rulings, would you close that door, Lori? The justices in D.C. do not typically take up appeals of state court rulings that don't include an interpretation of the U.S. Constitution or federal law. The majority ruling in this case rested solely on the justice's interpretation of state law and an amendment of Alabama's Constitution. Most likely, there is no route to the U.S. Supreme Court for this case, said Steve Vladek, the CNN Supreme Court analyst and professor of University of Texas School of Law. Quote,
okay, I see what he's saying, yeah.
The U.S. Supreme Court's ability to review state Supreme Court decisions is limited to decisions that turn on a question of federal law. Here, the issue is how Alabama is interpreting its own state constitution. So, could it
you know what's funny?
Yeah.
And think about this, right? If the Supreme Court hadn't ruled the way that they did with regards to Roe v. Wade last summer, it would. Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But the Supremes kicked it back to the states. Thus, his point was, so it ends at the state level because it's a state interpretation of a state law. Yeah. But it would have gotten kicked up to the Supremes had they not ruled the way they did last summer.
Do you remember how offended I was in the whole gay marriage debate back when you and I first started this show?
I remember how offended. That feels like a trick question.
No. Do you remember how adamantly pissed off I was that we were still fighting gay and lesbian marriage in this country when we started this show in 2009? And it was the one topic that would just make me so mad that it was even still a discussion in this country. This is tantamount to that for me. Because it makes no sense. And what I fear in the larger scope of things, Paul, is that these types of issues will lead to abortion being legal again in this country. Because
being illegal again?
No, abortion being legal again in many places in this country. Because now the anti-abortion people can stand up and say, but look, when you give them the ability to regulate people's bodies, here's what they do. They act like Idaho, where they place onerous restrictions. They act like Texas, where they say they're going to charge you with a crime if you leave the state to get an abortion. They act like Alabama, where now you're freezing embryos or we're going to charge you with something or hold you accountable. This is why you can't let them control anything about abortion, because they'll go too far. And this is going to grab a foothold in the narrative of this country. With the 65% of the people that are in the middle, not the libs, not the conservatives, but the 65% of the people in the middle that are going to see this. And here's what's going to happen. In November, you're going to have an election. And can you honestly tell me that abortion is not going to be a major issue in the election? It certainly will be. And the candidates that are running as Democrats on this are going to hold up cases like Idaho, Texas, and now Alabama and say, look, this is why Republicans are wrong. And the lemmings are going to see that and go, oh my God, that hurts the cockles of my heart. I must vote for Democrats.
But I need to push back on you though, man.
And Biden is going to win re-election over Trump because of these isolated things that get blown up to be major catastrophic problems. And we're going to be set for 4 more years of dementia in the White House.
Oh, I doubt that.
And if you think I'm wrong, go to the midterms in 2022, where they ran on 2 things. We hate Trump, and they took away our abortion. And that red wave never happened. And conservative candidates did not win en masse like everybody thought that they did. And now Alabama just gave Democrats more fodder for the cannon to show this is why you can't trust Republicans. And I don't agree with it, but that's going to be the narrative. And that narrative is going to hold for people. And Biden's going to get reelected because of it. Mark my words.
Biden's not running for office.
Oh, what? Okay. Right now, we're going to live in the land where Biden is running.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, and Kevin, for those of you that are listening right now, and Kevin has really upset you, Kevin also predicted Mike Leach was going to be the head coach in Nebraska. Okay. Listen, sometimes things just don't go the way. By the way, he's still dead. Oh,
ouch.
Kev, I love you. I do.
Still a better coach dead than Jim Harbaugh. I feel compelled to continue to make. You're blaming this on Republicans. This was a private lawsuit. It had nothing to do with political parties. Okay, so let's set that aside. So you can lay and listen. That argument might work in the elections. By the way, I'm not saying it won't work. The Democrats might go to see what Republicans did in Alabama, but Republicans had nothing to do with this. Bad ruling by a judge who allowed his faith and conviction to interfere. That's where the problems came into play with this ruling, and it is what it is. Okay. Let me ask you a question about that.
Yeah.
Aren't you glad he said it though? Let me ask you why I'm saying that before you answer. Aren't you glad he said it though? Because he didn't have to say it. In his brain, he could have been weighing all of his religious arguments and saying, this is why I'm doing it. It's because of my religion, because of my faith, because of my God, because we don't believe in it. But he didn't have to say it. He could have BS'd his way through the entire opinion and said, I'm interpreting the Constitution. Aren't you glad he actually said, though, why? So at least we know.
It gives them a point to attack the ruling. And you're right. I don't per se disagree with you. Am I glad that he said it? I think it was idiotic that he said it. Because I'm a states' rights proponent. And writing a ruling like that is exactly why people push back against states' rights. My favorite is when people say, we have a separation of church and state. And then you have to remind them, no, dumbass, we don't. That doesn't really exist. That entire concept comes from a series of letters written between Jefferson and Adams, right? So that's the Federalist Papers for those that are keeping score. It's just, but listen, even though technically we don't have that concept or that law isn't on the books, the separation of church and state, we have run our country as though it is. We have set precedent many, many, many times over, right? And so, and I think that that's an important distinction, is that in this country, we do, in theory, have a separation of church and state. And it's very important. It's very important. And we need to do everything we can to try to maintain that boundary, I think. And yeah, horrible decision. Upset about it? No, because I see it for what it is. It's the temporary result of a bad legal decision. That's how I see it. And And you would think a guy like me would be jumping up and down, right? But no. Listen, Nikki Haley went out and gave a speech today. Her son was born via something like IVF, but I don't think it was exactly IVF. But because this ruling raises one important question, doesn't it? If you're going to go the route of IVF, you'll have 3, 4, 5, 6 eggs that are fertilized and put in holding for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what do you do with the ones left over?
Well, that's the whole point of this conversation.
Yeah, that's the
Don't
whole
fertilize
issue.
them now.
Is that if you freeze them under the way that the legal experts are reviewing this, and even from the comment of the dissenting judge, the theory is that you cannot destroy them, and you have to pay to house them in perpetuity.
I mean, if you're a welfare queen, in theory, you could set it up so that it's like a Facebook post, right? Every 3 years, you pop out another one.
Ouch.
What?
Yeah, I'm with you.
But the
okay.
poor
Okay. On Facebook, you can write up posts, but you don't post them. You can tell it when to post the post. So we did it for Outlaw Radio Network for a while, where you go on there and say, I want this to post at 1:00. I want this to post at 2:00 and so on and so forth.
I'm going to schedule one on my Facebook page that'll post in 50 years after I'm dead. It'll just pop up out of nowhere. That'll be great.
Right?
That'd be awesome.
That would be kind of funny, to be honest with you. Listen, Paul, I get what you're saying, right? And you're right. There are avenues for this. I know. Okay, next topic.
Hold on.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. You said I was right. I thought that was the end of the discussion.
There are avenues for this to be corrected. The legislature will probably do something and fix the Constitution to allow IVF after the outrage and all that. You're absolutely right. But the problem is, I hate this because we're punishing people that are just trying to have children, which was not the intent of the abortion stuff in the first place, right? We were trying to make sure people had children, not stop people from having children. And two, it terrifies me. And again, Paul, maybe you're right. Maybe we can't blame this on Republicans in essence, right? I do still think that Republicans in Alabama have blame in this because the legislation and the amendment to the Constitution of the state and all of that should have been a little cleaner, so this wasn't an issue. But the problem is it doesn't matter if we can blame or should blame Republicans. It matters how this is packaged and sold by the left.
I'm there with you. Yep.
And that's where I say the Republicans are gonna be blamed. Whether they should or not is irrelevant. How is this packaged by the left? I can already imagine the campaign ads that are going to circle around here for Biden and Harris in the reelection campaign, and for legislators all over the country.
Yeah.
And everybody in the chat who thinks I'm off my rocker, I just go back to 2022. We had Republican after Republican on this show, and Republican after Republican nationally, and on CNN and on MSNBC and on Fox and everywhere. What do they all say?
There's nothing you are saying, by the way. There's nothing you are saying that makes you off your rocker or abnormal. These are legitimate, honest, forthright conversations and thoughts, for sure.
Yeah.
I do have one observation. I don't think this is going to be as big a deal as you think it is, because it's just Alabama.
Libertarians.
No, it has nothing to do with libertarian right now, because it's just Alabama.
Yeah.
Now, if California had Alabama's politics and it was California that did it with the massive population and everything, I would say, okay, it's something to be aware of.
Let me tell you why you're wrong.
It's just Alabama.
Let me tell you why you're wrong.
No one pays attention to Alabama.
But let me tell you why you're wrong.
Okay.
In 2022, we believed, everybody was told that we were going to have a red wave.
Yep.
That conservatives were going to gain a lot of seats. Maybe they were going to take the House and the Senate. Remember, that was a conversation.
Yes. Oh my God. For God's sakes, Kevin, it was just the wrong time of month. The red wave still happened.
All right. But they said we're going to have a red wave. We're going to have all these Republicans take over seats. Republicans can take over the House and the Senate. Mm-hmm. And the Democrats had two things to run on that midterm, which was we hate Trump, and they took away our rights to an abortion. Mm-hmm. And what happened? And all those restrictive abortion rights were where? In red states that most people don't care about. Idaho, Alabama, Mississippi, West Virginia, right?
Right. But
small electoral content votes,
right.
Small states,
right.
Nobody really cares about them. Most people there don't even have cable. They're still using dial-up, okay?
Yep.
But the rest of the country paid enough because the left gets the hairs up on the back of their neck and they go, oh my God, we're being oppressed. And they rally together and they find a cause, and then they
got the cockles up.
And they all turn out en masse to vote. What we didn't need to do was give Democrats more ammo for November. And in November, we've now given them their two pieces of ammo back, right? One, Donald Trump was the presumptive nominee, and everybody on the left hates him, and that's going to be motivation for them. And they can still paint the picture that Republicans are screwing them out of their rights because of this abortion thing. And now look what they're doing. Now look how bad it is. Now look, see, they're not just stopped with abortion. Now they don't want you to have IVF. And it's not the truth, but it's how it'll be packaged, and it's how the lemmings will follow. And when Joe Biden wins re-election, write this crap down. February 21st.
All right, first of all, you need to shut your mouth. I don't want to hear you say Joe Biden wins re-election ever again. You understand me, Kevin Chambers? No, you shut up about that.
Said Joe Biden wins re-election because of this crap.
Right before his stroke.
He's not going to win re-election because he's not going to end up running.
Okay, Tom.
He's going to get replaced.
Listen, my God, Tom.
He's going to get replaced.
In your world.
No way.
Okay. In
there
your
is
world.
no way Joe Biden can win.
In your
he has
world.
Screwed this country.
You believe that rainbows and unicorns and powdered toast.
Dogs and cats are living together.
Yeah. Okay. And let's pretend, okay. If
Tell
you're
about
right,
the Twinkie
we'll
Al.
see. But as of right now, what do we have to go off of? Right now, we know the presumptive Republican and the presumptive Democrat nominees. And by the way, if it's not Joe Biden and it's somebody who's somewhat mentally cognizant, then they win.
So a
even
Republican.
easier. No, a Democrat who's more mentally cognizant. If Gavin Newsom runs,
there's no way.
Hold on. If Gavin Newsom runs,
bankrupt California
again, if Gavin Newsom runs and they pull this crap out of their hat and they market this to the middling masses,
but the problem is right now that your day-to-day stress of putting gas in your car and keeping food in your refrigerator and paying your bills,
regular gas, not diesel, Kevin.
Yeah, let's not talk about diesel. That's why I'm not driving either of my diesel trucks right now.
I always thought natural gas meant the kind you give from eating beans, but go ahead.
No,
magical fruit.
People are more concerned about paying the bills than they are about maybe abortion rights that may or may not affect them.
Again, hold on. Tom,
the economy.
All I have to do is point at 2020 and show you how wrong you are.
The economy's worse now than it was then.
Okay, but it doesn't matter.
It does.
In 2020, people stayed home.
Would you please let Tom finish a sentence? It is hard enough for him to articulate 4 words and put them together.
There are Republicans who will stay home in November because they will not vote for Trump and they are not going to vote for the other side and they just will not vote. The Democrats are going to win re-election. I hate to tell you, Phil. Tom, finish and then Phil.
No, I think I've made my point. I mean, the economy is a mess. No one is going to vote for Joe, and no one's going to vote left. Joe Biden, absolutely not. Gavin Newsom, most probably not. Who else do they have?
Michelle Obama.
It could be Michelle. Could be Hillary.
Obama doesn't have a track record to campaign.
Oprah
on.
Winfrey.
I
don't know.
Could be Michelle. Could be Hillary.
The road you're going down, dear. Oh, it's painful.
Yeah, Oprah and Obama have no track record. Hillary Clinton couldn't beat Trump the first time. She's not going to beat Trump this time.
Yeah, I would revise my prediction if it was Hillary because she's just caustic. Phil?
It occurred to me as we're talking all this, obviously what's important to you is what you believe the nation response will be, but you got a couple here that had this tragedy with this whole IVF losing embryos.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the right call for these people?
Ghostbusters.
That
what the right call?
To quote the great St. Paul, read the
room. Fair question.
That's not what it means.
I think you can still hold the facility accountable for the destruction of the embryos, but I don't think the ruling is embryos are children. I think that there's room in the middle of those two things to say, okay, you have negligence. You've destroyed the embryos. There certainly is damage incurred by that. I don't know how you figure out a price tag for the pain and the suffering, the mental anguish, the restarting the IVF process. But there has to be middle ground between you're not responsible or you just killed children.
Can I
do for the cost of the IVF service plus 25% for mental damage?
Kevin, can I?
Damages.
Is it?
Kevin, can I ask you?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Kevin, can I ask a question? Did it talk about whether or not the eggs were fertilized or unfertilized? So were they evening or morning eggs?
They were embryos, so they were fertilized.
Okay, so they were fertilized embryos. Okay. I just, could you imagine though? I mean, because some of those, right, like when they're in transport and stuff, are prior to fertilization. I mean, how does that conversation go? Well, Louise, sorry, Tom over there in the fertilization department tripped and broke all of them all over the floor. And I know it's upsetting. I'm sorry you're crying. She's like, oh, I'm just emotional. I'm on my period.
Can you imagine, Paul? Can you imagine? Just being a fly on the wall in that room for that conversation. I would have.
I'm not sure if Paul just had a little subtlety there.
I know. I saw what he did. I'm ignoring it. Hey, really quick, we have a new ad we need to play really quick. Can you just play me some fun, upbeat music? I have a 30-second spot I need to read.
Oh God.
Benny Hill.
No, not Benny Hill.
I don't know. Dun, 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 dun.
I got it.
He's like, so now we're doing commercials we're doing commercials in the middle of a segment now. Hey, what could go wrong?
I just want to make sure we have this before we go to the top.
Okay.
Yeah, sure you do.
Because we agreed to get this on the show tonight.
I'm afraid.
Me too.
I'm really afraid.
Oh my God! It's not a Lori's Beads commercial, is it, or a feet commercial?
You ready, Phil?
Right.
Okay.
You too need Gloria's blow up doll. That's right. If you want just the right feeling with just the right sensation, and you know what I'm talking about, man. Oh Lord. Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Here we go. All right, here we go. Are you ready to add a touch of sensuality to your life? Introducing Lori's Beads, your ultimate destination for tantalizing treasures. Explore our exquisite collection of handcrafted beads, from bold and daring to delicate and alluring. Whether you're a seasoned pro or a curious beginner, Lori's Beads has everything you need to spice up your intimate moments. Discover your hidden desires and let your fantasies come to life with Lori's Beads. Visit us online or in-store today. Lori's Beads. Unleash the passion within. Dennis went to ChatGPT and said, write us a commercial for Lori's Beads. And there you go.
Yeah, Kevin, you're my top customer.
That was great. We need to cut that on the spot.
Oh, that's so
do you charge him full price for those, or does he get a friend and family discount?
50% off.
Only unused selection.
I think her marketing slogan should be beads deep. That's beads deep.
Dude.
You're so bad.
Oh, that's a good one. Beads deep.
So bad.
That's what you gotta name. That's what you name the online store. Beads deep.
So deep, put her beads to sleep. All right. Anyway.
So bad.
All right. Anyway, let's check comments in chat. By the way, at 8:30 we have a guest. We have guests joining us at 8:30.
More than 8 guests. 2.
A whole guest.
A gaggle.
3
a
guests,
gaggle.
Yeah. So Brian and Terry from Whiskey Creek are going to join us by video, and Brent from Six Gun Rebels is going to join us by phone. They got the big event coming up. We're going to talk about that. They're going to join us at 8:30 for a little bit to talk about the big event coming up.
So, those are a Leonard Skinnard and Bad Company cover band.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was just letting the listeners know.
Yeah. 2 minutes till break.
So
stick around for that.
So
the Leonard Skinner.
Yeah. I've got
Friday night as well as Saturday.
Corey said beadsdeep.com. All right. I'm sure there were some listeners who were like, wow, they're acting like adults tonight. They're having adult conversation about real politics. They haven't evolved into the teenage humor. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, well, wait till this next story.
In the immortal words of Popeye, I am what I am. All right, Paul, do you want to tag this?
And it's all that I am.
Do you want to tag this?
Yeah, because we're going. Yeah. So, hey, this next one, because we just talked about the story with the IVF and the courts and everything, I think a lot of people are not aware of the fact that Washington State could soon allow lawsuits in this very issue, not the same as Alabama, but in this issue, and I'm going to put the word out there, figure out what it means. The word is stealthing. Washington State could soon allow lawsuits in cases of stealthing.
You know,
stealthing,
like the beach
stealthing
bomb. Stealth bomb.
Oh, you're gonna have to explain. You have to define what stealthing is. Because if it involves women online, I'm screwed.
By the way,
well, you're close, Kevin. Closer than you know. And you do. Did you guys hear about the law that is going into effect with regards to chickens?
No.
Yes, in Washington State, all eggs that are sold in stores must come from chickens that are cage free. So chickens like mine. So now you're going to start paying. Thank you, Democrats, by the way. You're going to start paying $6-7 a dozen for your eggs because they are going to be coming from cage free, free ranging chickens.
No, buying some chickens.
No, I got a neighbor who has chickens.
Tom, I have chickens for you, Tom.
Outlaw Radio back after this.
Network.com.
So proud of our sponsor, Lori's Beads.
And Kiki's Footprints.
Yeah.
Have you seen, Kevin? There is I just saw over the weekend, Kevin, a commercial for a new movie coming out, all about a family of Squatches.
What?
Did you hear about that movie? Yeah, it's a movie about a family of Sasquatch. Yeah. Should be fun.
Starring Dennis Buchholz as the Beav.
Actually, it's starring Jesse Eisenberg.
Is all the dialogue in grunts and clicks?
I don't know, because they didn't play any of that in the preview, so they were pretty secretive about it all. Yes, they did do a lot of that. Yes.
Wait, is that Sasquatch or is that like Aboriginal Africa? What is that?
No, it's definitely Sasquatch.
All right, Phil.
So I got two things. One, funny, is now, can we get the owner of Lori's Beads on to really talk about the ins and outs of this business? And
Phil is not as sheltered as he lets on. I'm telling you.
The ins and outs of the business. That's good.
That's good.
And Phil clearly likes to party.
Figure out where the business end here is. Additionally, has anyone followed anything about the Amos Miller case out of Pennsylvania, where they like seized all the food, the dairy food he had, like $500,000 of food lost in a legal battle kind of thing going on.
No, I didn't even hear about that.
Really
I've
something.
not heard about this.
Like, as in famous Amos? What?
No,
Amos?
like a guy named Amos who's Amish.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, yeah. I heard something very, very. I couldn't tell you one thing about the case, but I did hear something about there was an Amish gentleman that had his, because he was basically storing up the food, right? Like for the apocalypse or something.
No. He has a business, but the food, they're like, you didn't get the permit. Like, what permit? Oh, you can't use this food. It must be destroyed. Can I feed it to the pigs? No. Really? Wow.
Oh.
Talk about government.
I mean, that sounds like the world. Yeah, it sounds like the world we're in now, huh?
So, yeah, the attorney covering the case has a lot to say about that.
It's just, we're so out of our minds.
There was listeria in samples of raw milk from his farm.
They found nothing actually wrong.
No, in 2016 is what they're saying.
But that's not the case that's current.
Well,
no, once you're marked,
once you're on their radar, they ain't never gonna let you go.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the legal system, right, Kevin? Once they get you in their grasp, they're never letting you out.
Yeah. Listen, I said it before when I worked for the IRS. The system was not designed for people to get out of the IRS. If once you're in debt for the IRS, it's a cycle, and unless you've got a lot of money sitting around to bail yourself out, it starts to repeat itself because it's a cycle, right?
Wouldn't you just stop spending more than you earn?
No, because that's not the problem. Most people owe because they have
Did you eat?
They have self-employment.
Did you eat?
And then there's the estimated tax payments.
Go get a W-2 job.
Well, yeah, if it paid the same. Corey says we're giving 4 years after this upcoming election. I don't know what he's talking about Washington. Changer Kennedy, I'm not crazy about the bees, but a good ripcord is satisfying. Love starting my weed eater. Pull first. Yeah. There you go.
Now the question is that weed eater 2-stroke or 4? Just curious. I love it. The jokes make themselves.
Yeah.
Subtle.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now. I write it down. I'm serious.
I'm not.
There's no way the Democrat doesn't win the White House. I don't want it. I want some balance in our life. But there's no way a Democrat doesn't win the White House.
Can we just go straight to designated survivor at this point? Move forward.
Because Kamala Harris would be the one designated survivor. I mean, I'd be fine if Pete Buttigieg survived, but most of the rest of that cabinet is just a bunch of glory holes. Jeez. Speaking of glory holes, this hour brought to you by Lori's Beads. We're gonna come back on AM here in just a couple of moments. And Paul has a story about stealthing, which I Googled. And if it's the same stealthing, I'm really concerned. I'm really worried if it's the same stealthing that I looked at. Stick around. OutlawRadioNetwork.com. I knew that was coming.
Oh my God, are you two married?
You're listening to the Outlaw Radio Network.
I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's all right.
I don't care what time it is, year it is. You're still the Cowboys and you still suck.
A bunch of a-holes.
What kind of feeling? I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. I'm hooked on a feeling.
Kevin's like a cat. He needs a little scratch
By the way,
pad.
I'd like to tell you I'm 60.
Are you saying he's a pussy?
Zero. I'm 60 pounds down.
Good for you. Nice.
60 pounds down.
You suck, though.
60 pounds down.
Nicely done, sir.
Good job.
From where?
From my highest weight. I'd gotten up to I'd gained a good chunk of my weight back.
Wait. When are you counting from?
I'm counting from.
Are you counting from your latest?
Last year.
Okay.
April of last year. Okay. Because I gained a lot of weight back during COVID.
Okay. Fair enough.
I'm 60 pounds down.
Good.
Nice work.
Yeah. I'm not done. I'm not done. Hoping to lose.
How many sizes have you dropped? Because.
Well, that's the problem. Is I'm not buying pants.
That's been my biggest thing.
Because I know
right
that
now.
I'm still losing weight, so all my pants are really baggy, and I just have to use. I just use my belt.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is I'm now going to have to go out and buy a new belt.
Yep. Cut some new holes in it.
Yep.
Or something.
Might I recommend Hank's belts?
Hank's belts.
Yes.
Hanks.
Excellent gun belts.
Oh, geez, Tom.
Quality.
You got. Wow.
Well, Tom's a Leatherman. All right.
Yeah.
So, Paul,
Good
talk
for you.
about the stealthing bill. I want to hear about this because if it's what I think it is from when I Googled, I'm disturbed.
Well,
oh, wait.
I will tell you, man.
What?
Somebody wants to see your titties because you lost all that weight.
No.
Oh my God.
Jane,
That's
Kennedy,
what I thought you said. No, it's
Kennedy,
okay.
I ain't putting out for
You'd
less than
think
dinner.
he'd at least ask for your phone number first, Kevin.
I know. And I'm going somewhere expensive too. Like at that Brazilian steakhouse in Tacoma. That's what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
If you want the meat, you're giving me some meat first. Go ahead.
Now, before I talk about this story, I want everybody to pay very close attention because a lot more people are impacted by this than realize. In point of fact.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Well, what I was going to say was my ex-wife would have been guilty under this new law. I mean, this is serious stuff when you understand what this is. But I got my oldest son out of this, and so well, at this point in my life, I'm glad that this happened. But here we go. Washington state law could soon allow lawsuits in cases of stealthing. Stealthing is defined as the tampering with or removal of a sexually protective device without a partner's knowledge, meaning a condom or
IUD,
birth control pills.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
or
IUDs, right?
Oh.
Basic.
Wow.
Is it what you were thinking it was, Kevin?
Yes. I didn't relate it over to the birth control pills. I thought of the condom.
Yeah.
Which is why I was like, how did that happen to you, Paul? If you don't know the condom is off, then you might need to get some help with the size.
Sensation.
Maybe
it's amazing what happens after a bottle of chocolate whiskey. I'll leave it at that. Anyway, so here we go. Washington, by the way, chocolate whiskey sucks If you could find a way to make a chocolate whiskey, Tom, I would love you. But every one I've had was just so bad it was terrible. Didn't taste nothing like chocolate. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a diatribe there.
Paul, really quick,
we can talk about that later.
Do you know in Vegas, next to the Hershey's store in Vegas, there's a martini bar?
What?
That does a wide range of martinis, including a whole bunch of different kinds of chocolate martinis.
As I finish my margarita.
Well, 2 years
that
ago,
actually sounds really good.
Yeah, I'm going in April, and I'm going to drink one just for you, Paul.
You know those chocolate oranges that you get around the holidays? You whack them on the counter and they fall apart.
Mm-hmm.
So for Christmas 2 years ago, I made a chocolate liqueur that tasted exactly like those.
Yeah.
It turned out pretty good, but it wasn't a whiskey.
I remember that chocolate liqueur. I think that you gave me one of those along with the tinfoil wrapped chocolate orange. Yes, it was excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anyway, so here's the story.
Into a chocolate whiskey.
Olympia, Washington state law may soon allow people to sue sexual partners who have removed a condom or other sexually protective device without their consent. The Senate Law and Justice Committee passed several bills Tuesday morning, including a bill to allow civil lawsuits in cases of stealthing. Stealthing under the bill is defined as the tampering or removal of sexually protected devices without a sexual partner's knowledge or consent. Oh, we got to find out what the statute of limitations is, baby. Come on. Paul's revenge. All right. Several women who had consensual sex but later learned their partner either lied about or tampered with sexually protective devices described the anxiety and worry the experience caused them. One woman said she had a baby as a result of the experience. References to stealthing commonly include the non-consensual removal of condoms, but can include a number of sexually protective devices. Isn't it interesting there how they focused on the men doing it? Just saying. The National Domestic Violence Hotline states stealthing is a form of reproductive coercion. Yeah. Which is defined as threats or act of violence against a partner's reproductive health or reproductive decision-making. Yeah. In 2021, California became the first state to make stealthing illegal. Republicans previously... Now, Kevin, everybody please make sure Kevin stays in his seat for this part. I left this out of my description. I did not want Kevin to get worked up. But
okay.
All right. Republicans
I'm a big
previously...
kid now.
We'll see. Republicans previously filed an amendment to include birth control pills and IUDs under the definition of devices listed in House Bill 1958. Guess what happened?
What?
Anybody?
The Dems.
Those amendments were promptly voted down by the Democrats.
I knew that was coming, man. God bless it.
So if you're a man and you remove that condom, we want you to be guilty as sin, baby. But not the ladies who not. If you're a woman and you don't take your birth control pill or you take out your IDU, it's okay.
Yeah, no big deal.
Okay, but so
you can't make this up.
I know, and if you're a woman and you can't tell the difference, then there's some issues there. Just saying. Just saying.
Let me see.
Also,
let me. There's only a little bit.
The Friends episode, 3% failure rate. There you go.
So here, let me just finish this up really quick. The bill states that in cases of stealthing, a plaintiff, which in this case could only be women, the way it's currently written, may use a pseudonym and not their real name when bringing forth a civil lawsuit. It also states that a court may award compensatory or punitive damages or statutory damages of $5,000 per violation. Well, if I don't know who's suing me, how do I write her a check, Your Honor? If passed, the law would take effect. I guess, yeah, right. If passed, the law would take effect on July 1st. You know what? I'm going to let Kevin go first because I feel like Kevin has a lot to say on this. Kevin,
let me say this first. First of all,
sure.
The idea that she doesn't have to give her real name would not hold up in court because you have to be able to face your accuser. Yep. So at some point, that's going to have to roll off, right?
You think that would be a constitutional issue in Washington State? Okay, well, God bless you.
It certainly should be. I mean, it's part of the U.S. Constitution, and it's probably in the Washington.
I agree with you.
But since we've been wiping our ass with the American flag in this state for the last 15 years, I guess we'll just have to find out. Can
I just ask that Hanny Baxter or any other proud Democrat, please call the show. Please explain how this makes any sense and isn't completely sexist. Okay, go ahead, Kevin.
Well, on its face, I don't dislike the law if it applied to both genders equally.
Yeah.
Like, I would totally be in favor of this law.
Maybe a 14th Amendment thing?
What do you mean by a 14th Amendment thing?
Isn't that the one where things have to be applied equally?
That's a whole different kettle of fish, my friend. Because there's a lot of laws that are not applied equally. There's a lot of stuff that happens. There's a lot of and they call it affirmative. We're helping the oppressed. We're helping the women that are oppressed. We're helping the minorities that are oppressed. So they find a whole bunch of loopholes. But I wouldn't be opposed to this law in its inception, right? If you were a guy,
yes, if it's applied equally, yeah.
Yes, if it's applied equally. If you were a guy and you're tampering with a device, or if you are in the heat of the moment, you think you have a condom on, and you somehow get it off, and then you do your thing, and you're risking her physical health, you're risking a pregnancy, you're whatever, right? Like I think that should be criminal.
Yeah, it's a legitimate issue.
But I don't understand how a woman could basically say, I'm on the pill, and we've been on the pill the whole time we're together, and suddenly she stops taking the pill, but doesn't have to inform you of that, and then
you knock her purse off of the nightstand and the pill bottle falls out, and you go like, "Hey, none of these pills are missing, and it's the middle of the month. What's going on?" "Oh, nothing. That's just my pills for next month." "Oh, I'm sorry. It's just,
Not that you've lived the experience. It is, but the idea that can happen and the woman faces no ramifications from that. And folks, we live in a Navy town.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think there's girls in this town, 18, 19, 20-year-old that see a cute Navy guy and think he's in the Navy, I'm going to get a child support check for 18 years and I really want a baby, so I'm not really going to worry about it. And if I get pregnant, it's no big deal. If you think that doesn't happen,
all the time.
Maybe not a lot. Maybe not all the time. Maybe rarely. But if it happens once, it's still an example of how people get trapped. And you're basically saying, yet again, women are victims. Women can't defend themselves. They can't take care of themselves. They're weak. They're not very strong, and they're not very smart. Women are subjective to the whims of men, and women really don't know what they're doing, and they're just innocent and they're dumb. And men are all bad and evil, and they all have hell-bent discontent plans.
I'm gonna listen. I know this is gonna go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you're all right. Go ahead, Paul. I was
listen. Tom says go ahead and then keeps going. Tom, it's okay. Get it out, brother. Get it out. Get it out.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that is exactly the problem. This frustrates me so much. I remember from my youth, my late 20s, my early 30s.
Back when I was a young lad.
These two Utes? These two Utes?
No, not that Ute. Well, maybe. How often did you hear about as a young guy in your, I don't know, your late 20s, maybe your early 30s, about a scare? Well, Kevin,
so I own
the
only strip
I'm
club.
not picking on you.
Do you know how many children I have?
I know. That's what I was going to say.
Multiply that by 30, and that's how many scares I had.
Right, that's where I was going.
And I'm so smart, I never learned my lesson. I just kept frolicking and gallivanting around town, and you get semen, and you get semen, and everybody gets semen.
Right, but in those younger years, how many times did you go and decide that you really wanted a little bambino? No, you're just out having fun. Yeah. You never wanted a bambino.
Oh, I always wanted kids.
Tom, man, it's all good. Tom, relax.
No,
listen. Let me point out for those.
The wrong direction.
I hear you, Tom. And coming from a guy on this crew in this radio station who owned a strip club for 4.5 years, the only one in the county. You ask about. Let me tell you something, brother. Listen. There is a reason why we have the word Bremelo here, okay? In a Navy town. The Navy leaves for 6 months on Westpac, and when those young men get back, if you're walking, talking, and breathing, they will stick Wee Willie Winky wherever they can. which is why, unfortunately, so many relatively undesirable women are walking around single, collecting paychecks every month. All right? Because they will go out to the bar. The joke used to be, right? If you had a bar filled with people, you could walk in. If you ever wanted to empty a bar, all you had to do was walk in and say, hey, the Nimitz broke a prop out at sea. They're coming back to port. Like that bar would empty. Just freaking empty. Anyway, point just being about this whole thing. It should, as much as the last story incensed Kevin, this story and the injustice of it, the fact that Democrats are attempting to pass this law in Washington State, should absolutely demonstrate to anybody with sense of self that the Democrats are willing to completely run this state into the goddamn ground without any sense of what is just or right or fair. Something so blatant. You might as well have reversed the male-female thing and put black people and white people, because that's how discriminatory this bill is.
I would agree. Phil?
I was going to ask, and Paul just answered the first part of the question is, who's supporting this bill? You were saying the Democrats, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
How is this not part of the Puritan movement? It's such a contrast.
I got nothing for you. You're right. Yeah.
Look, we've gone so backwards now. Democrats are Republicans. Republicans are Democrats. Like I don't even know what to do now.
Republicans
so
always been the good guys. Lincoln.
We're so spun around.
Dems are sitting there gaslighting everybody. On the one hand, abortion's over here for free, and then
Republicans
we'll
have not
bust you in.
always been the good guys. Phil,
No,
stop
I know.
that. Stop
I'm
that.
just being disingenuous.
Yeah, stop that nonsense.
But then you have Democrats saying, no, you can't have stealthing.
Well, but again, I don't have an issue with the law.
No, I don't either.
Can we
I think
please?
it's a great law if they would actually apply it correctly.
Can we please tonight, all of us, when the show's over, all of us, Phil, you too, all of us, send Tara Simmons a message. Hey, Tara, you ready to come on the show yet? All of us. This is ridiculous. This is so dumb. And Paul's gone. This is so dumb. This is God. Can I move?
Where are you moving to?
I don't know, an island off the coast of
Venezuela.
Italy. An island off the coast of Italy, maybe, where there's grapes and feta cheese. I don't know.
Italy?
Yeah.
Greece.
It's the Mediterranean. There's grapes and feta cheese in the Mediterranean.
Oh, I know.
Like Sicily
I'm
or
just
something?
picturing you in Italy.
Yeah, I would look great, man.
Kevin, he'll be like, there I was, Sicily, 2024.
I can't. I can't. With
She said she was on the pill, but
stupid law. Well, I'm snipped, so I'm fine.
That
doesn't apply to me.
the doctor said I was snipped. But
You know what'll solve this whole
you have
stealthing
a
thing?
classmate.
What's that?
A male birth control pill.
Yep.
No, it won't.
It will.
It will.
Here's why
guarantee
it
you.
won't.
Kid, tell me in your youth, you were 25. At 25 years old, when K-Dog was running around being the amorous K-Dog he was, tell me that if you didn't wake up every morning and take a pill and then go off to your wild K-Dog ways, you wouldn't have been more secure and more, say, okay, now all I have to do is worry about a need for a shot of penicillin. But you're not going to leave a litter of little K-Dogs out in the world.
Tom,
A litter.
Tom, here's why it won't work.
Go.
How many times do you leave the house and realize, oh crap, I don't have my keys, or oh crap, I forgot my phone on the counter, or crap, my glasses are on the end table.
Almost never.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it happened once, but I forgot my pants, so that was why the keys.
Yeah. I take a blood pressure pill every morning.
You remember to take it
every morning without fail?
I'm horrible on meds, man. I really am bad.
Really?
On meds.
So if I was really truly worried about not wanting to have another little bambino, which is it's not an issue now. I'm old, but if I were really worried about it, I'd remember to take.
But that's just it. But they're not really worried about it, though. I mean, listen, if they were really worried about it, they'd have condoms in their wallets.
How many scares did you have? And
but
it was
again,
scary every time, right?
Yes, but it didn't make me put a condom. Crap! But it didn't make me put a condom on next time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not. It's not like it's a monumental task for a guy to keep from getting somebody pregnant. All you got to do is stop at 7-Eleven and buy yourself some condoms.
True.
Or if they're out of condoms, buy some aluminum foil. I mean, there's ways to avoid it. Or better yet, Don't put Willie in a dark tunnel where he doesn't belong. But people don't think about that. People don't think about that in the moment.
But that exactly. I mean, it's human nature. Human nature is, the 3 Fs: feed, fight, and
fornicate.
Yeah.
Find them, feel them, come and flee.
So I mean, a male. I do. I think a male birth control would solve this. I think you're kind of the exception that proves the rule.
What's interesting is how it's funny we're on the abortion topic last hour and here we are, the how to not have abortions, but it circles back to, and maybe I'm going to take heat, being responsible for our actions. The birth control revolution.
That's first and foremost. But
there was a time when there was
there
was much at risk for someone to
get someone else pregnant out of wedlock.
I was going to say the women had a lot more at risk.
Yeah.
Yes.
100 years ago.
Oh yeah.
But here's a problem. I think the system, in theory, should be perfect. Women are the more responsible gender. Women are the more.
The hell? No. What?
Women are.
Disagree with that.
Listen to me. Let me finish.
Stop.
Women are the more.
So much I could say right now, Kevin. So much.
Women are, in general, a more responsible gender than men.
Who are you trying to impress right now?
I'm not trying to impress anybody.
I so disagree with that.
So do I.
I can't get a date to the prom. I'm not impressing anybody.
Most of the financial problems out there in the world.
Watch it.
Women.
I mean, Kevin, weren't you the one saying before they had the vote? It was a lot better, right? Yeah.
Well, that's why me and Heidi Hot Sauce agreed that women shouldn't have the right to vote. But go ahead.
Most of the financial problems out there are with women, not with men.
I don't know about that.
It's a statistic.
It's about men though, because we let them have the credit cards.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, there was a time when that was I think Lori brought it up. You need a bank account.
You guys don't think women are more responsible generally? I'm not talking about specific women like Paul's ex-wife. I just mean generally.
In general, yes, Lori is way more responsible than most, especially financially speaking.
I think if we look at the bell curve, I think you're going to find your average. I think your bell curve is going to find your average guy is probably a little less responsible, but I think you're going to find your guys are quite responsible. I think you have a little bit of a narrow, wide bell curve thing going on here.
I think men and women are very similar in that respect.
All right. Well, look, I'm just going to say this. Turn your mic off, Phil. I'm just going to say this. I think you all are drunk. I think women are generally the more responsible and more mature of the genders. I think women mature faster.
So there should be a male birth control pill, and then you can prove to women that you're just as responsible.
I think putting women in charge of that end of the birth control.
He said pudding.
Theoretically should work in the best way possible because women are generally more responsible. The problem is sometimes they're vindictive little trolls too.
Whoa.
We're going to go to break. Outlaw Radio.
Network.com.
Stop it.
Jocelyn, food.
J. Andrew Kennedy said in the chat, let's just turn the music back up. J. Andrew Kennedy said in the chat, let's just be frank here. Who's Frank? Women's suffrage is messed up. We need to end it.
Other dog. Did you go feed Ebony? Yes, you did. Good.
Your mic's still on, Paul.
All right, we got.
Zip outside.
You know what? I'm gonna mute him.
Well, no, leave him muted. Would you go ahead and just throw some music up? We'll put a little buffer in here, and we'll bring our guests on in just a second.
All right. I got to figure out what I'm doing here. So we got a guest on the radio. We don't have the guest on video yet.
Yes, they're there. They're in the waiting room.
Oh, did they just show
see
up?
them. Yeah, they just showed up. Terry and Brian are in the waiting room, and we have our caller on the line.
All right. You want some music? What do we want?
Just whatever you want to play, just to give us a little bit of a buffer here. Just make sure it's not copywritten, so we don't get blocked by the thousands of streaming platforms we're on.
How about no copyright Japanese lo-fi?
Perfect. Play that. Outlaw Radio.
All right. Be back in 2 minutes.
I can't sit on those. I'm breaking.
you do what they were doing.
They stood on this. It's hell house. Small dock.
Oh, the dock.
Yeah. This was the dock.
That document.
Well, I'm glad we're doing this again. It's stressful at times. And we're going to freaking die and kill over sometime.
Yeah,
it's fun.
I'm Brandy Cruz, host of the Undivided Podcast, and you're listening to Outlaw Radio. Good luck.
Hey, have we had any luck with getting Brandy Cruz to come back on? What's that, Tom? Talk in the mic.
Oh,
yeah, we're on the air.
Oh, we're on the air now.
Yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus in front of the millions and millions of listeners.
In front of the bus.
In front of the bus.
Yeah.
I have not heard back from her yet.
Okay, you need to reach out again then. Harass her. Remember, restraining order is just another way of saying I love you.
Yeah,
that's true.
All right,
you got your guests on here.
All right, we got our guests joining us live on video. We have Terry and Brian there with Whiskey Creek. We also have on the line Brent. He's from Six Gun Rebels. They got a big event coming up this Saturday night. We're going to talk about that in just a second. But before we do that, hello, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Hey, hello.
Hey, guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Hey, there's everybody's here. Hail, hail, the gang's all here. I don't think we've ever had this many guests on at one time before, remotely. So you guys have set a record. Congratulations.
Woohoo!
Everybody looks so excited. All right.
We're moving on up.
So the event is coming up this Saturday night, the 24th. Doors open at 8. The show at 8:30. They're going to be playing live both groups, Whiskey Creek and Six Gun Rebels at the Redwood Theater on Riddell in Bremerton.
Redwood Theater.
So
Tracyton Movie House, Redwood Theater. You know.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize it was still called the Redwood Theater. It's
called everything.
I figured it out, guys. I cracked the code. I went there and I saw a couple bands here a few weeks ago. And when you walk into the Tracyton Movie House, there are 4 theater rooms. One of them is the Redwood Theater. They've named each of the 4 theaters in the multiplex. And that's why they say the Redwood Theater.
Brent broke the matrix.
It used to be Redwood Cinemas, so it's confusing as heck.
Oh, I remember that way back in the day.
Of course, now you're going to tell me Gallagher's gone, right?
Yeah, well, Gallagher's has been gone for a long time, Phil. They're showing
Washed the wrong watermelon.
Hey, really quick, before we talk about your show, you guys saw those other 2 bands that played there, and I'm not going to say who they were. I'm not trying to hype up other bands or something, but I'm going to see them next month. Were they any good?
Which bands?
That narrows it down, Kevin.
Well, no, they know because they took pictures when they were at the movie house and promoted on their page they were going to see the bands.
Let me see if I can help Kevin. Are you saying you're going to take a journey to go see them?
Infinity Project and Non Jovi, were they any good?
Oh yeah,
I enjoyed it. Yeah,
Okay.
that was me. Me and our guitar player Eric went to see them, and I enjoyed it.
When I had a girlfriend, I bought tickets for us to go, and I don't have a girlfriend, so I guess that means I get to go twice.
It's hard to recreate Journey's sound with Steve Perry for sure, but those guys do a good job.
Good.
Yeah,
So the guys from Whiskey Creek, it's your first time on the show, so welcome. Thanks for dealing with our weird brand of craziness. For the listeners that don't know about you guys, it'd be easy for me to just say you're a Leonard Skinner, tribute band, but why don't you guys tell us a little bit about who you guys are and what you guys do?
Well, there's so many bands that call themselves, such and such a tribute to, and we kind of like the phrase as celebrating the music of Leonard Skinner, which is great music. And we started the band in '82,
Dang.
Yeah, a little while.
And played.
You guys have been around since Moby Dick was a minnow.
Yeah, yeah. And we played all the way to 2010. And Brian was in a couple different incarnations of it. And after that, I just kind of had enough for a while. And just back last June, Brian came back into town. We said, let's start it up again. And we've got Brian, who's an alum. We got another guitar player who's a former member. Keyboard player is one of the original guys from 1983. And a whole new rhythm section. My son Zach on drums and Nico Robinson on bass, and it's fun again. It wasn't fun for the last 2 years we were doing it.
So it's good to be back.
I
Talk
can
a little bit about just what you guys get out of playing in front of a crowd. I'm not comparing the two, but I've done some, Paul, shut your dogs up. I've done some karaoke stuff in front of some pretty big crowds and some contests and stuff that I've emceed for and whatever. And so I've been able to just get out and sing in front of some large groups. But when you guys have got the energy of the full band and you got a crowd out there cheering for you, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we feed off the energy of the people. It really gets us pumped up and makes us want to play that much harder. And you see people smiling out there, and it just really just pumps up the whole band. And it's just a rush for me. I'm sure everybody else too. But yeah, it's just an awesome feeling. There's no other feeling like it.
Well, especially seeing we played our first show 2 weeks ago, the first one in 13 years, and it was sold out. I mean, it was just overwhelming that people still remembered the band Whiskey Creek and just followed us and just we're right there.
That's awesome.
We really like their support is just great.
Yeah.
Well, it does feel like since COVID ended, right? We've seen this resurgence in bars and clubs and live bands and live entertainment because people were cooped up in their houses for the better part of 3 years. And suddenly, all the straps are off. You guys go have fun. And now we get to go check out some great live bands again. And actually we had time to miss it,
Yeah, and there's a thing too. The tribute scene is really taken off again. I mean, it's crazy because like you look how expensive tickets are for the real names that are coming to town, and some people it's just way out of your budget. It's like, man, I couldn't say that. And a lot of those bands just have, other hired guns in it too. It's not even all the original people either. So when we go out, people can still hear the music live that they love from back in the day. And they don't have to break the bank coming out to see us either, and we put a lot of time and effort into rehearsals. We try to get it as close to the original as possible because it is a tribute. It's not just a cover band, it's a tribute. And so we want to get it right for everybody, as close as we can. And I think people appreciate that.
And by the way, tickets are starting at $15 for this. So you get to check out both bands, Whiskey Creek and Six Gun Rebels, again at Tracy Movie House this Saturday night. When we had Brent on before, I asked him this question. I'm going to ask you guys this question too. So what is your guys' favorite Skynyrd song to do in front of a crowd?
I'll let you answer it first.
In front of a crowd? Well, I would say, let's see. For me, it's Freebird only because I love playing that lead at the end. It's just, and we can stretch it out. I think our version's close to 14 minutes.
Dang.
And it just rocks. So, Freebird, it starts out all mellow and then you build it up, and then, towards the end, it's just rocking to the end. And I love it. People kind of always joke about yelling out Freebird, all the different shows and stuff, but that song's got so much meaning for me. And I just love playing that song live. It's just so fun every time.
I thought for sure you'd say On the Hunt.
No, that's my favorite Skynyrd song, but playing live is Freebird for sure.
Yeah, for me, Simple Man.
Yeah.
I love that song.
It's a good song.
I danced with my mother when I got married to that song.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. You guys might make Tom go into tears if you play that if he's at the show.
Yeah, I plan on being there. I plan on taking my wife.
Doesn't it start Mama Told Me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Hey, Brent, Brent is with Six Gun Rebels, and he's joining us by phone. Brent, talk about how forward you guys are looking to this show to get out there and play some music with Whiskey Creek and just pack that place out.
First off, we're incredibly grateful to have an opportunity to open up for Whiskey Creek. We are really looking forward to it. Great bunch of guys. I was fortunate to have a drink with Brian on Saturday. he came over to scope out our next show, which is here in Kitsap County as well. But we, Six Gun Rebels, we practiced the last 2 nights in a row here at the house, trying to get ready for the gig, and it's pretty smooth sailing. I think this is really going to be a good doubleheader.
Absolutely.
That's outstanding. Do you guys have any idea on how many? What is a full house in that? How many people can they stuff in that area for you guys to play for?
I think they can go up around 400. I believe there's like 108 reserve seats, and then I think they can get high 200s in standing room. I'm not 100% sure on that, but we're well on our way. There will be some tickets available, but it's a good crowd already.
You guys are going to blow the roof off the place, man. Can you just imagine?
I think
300.
I think it's going to be a fun night.
300, 400 people crammed into that.
I know.
Place.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to grilling burgers for these two guys on video here Saturday afternoon before the show.
We're looking forward to it.
Have you guys done a show before? Have you guys done a show together before, or is this the first one that you guys of different bands have done together?
It's the first show we're doing together. However, Brian came over to scout us back in November at a bar we did, gave us the thumbs up. So thank you, Brian. And we went out, me and the singer and one of our 2 guitar players went out to Uncle Sam's to watch Whiskey Creek. So we had a good time there too as well. Yeah, this is a match made in heaven.
Yeah, we're going to do a package deal with us and Six Gun Rebels, hopefully during the summer in a few places too, Yeah, so they go hand in hand, It's Bad Company was, one of Skinner's favorite bands, and so they go hand in hand for sure. Yeah.
Well, he's going to kill me for throwing his name out there, but if you ever get a chance to reach out to Gus over at Gordon Sound in Silverdale, he's the guy that heads up the entertainment for Whaling Days. So just tell him you guys want to play at Whaling Days, and the K-Dog sent you down there, and if he doesn't book you guys and pay you guys to play Whaling Days, I'll come down there and take a poop right on his desk. I really will. I'll do it. I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared.
Can we do that live on the Six Gun Rebels Facebook page?
I'll do it. Listen, you guys don't know me very well, but I'm a little bit of a media whore, so I will do anything anywhere if it gets people to watch it. I don't care. I ain't scared.
And I will videotape.
Yeah,
that.
and Tom will videotape it because it wouldn't be the first time he's
Tom
done
ain't
that.
scared either.
I ain't scared of none.
So I got something to show you guys real quick.
Okay.
So this, I'll see if I can get it on there. This right here, this is an actual piece of the original dock from Hell House in Florida, where Skinner started and rehearsed.
Really?
This is an actual piece of the dock that Ronnie Van Zant used to fish off of.
How did you get that?
So there's a group out there raising money for the plane crash survivors that are still alive. Leslie Hawkins and Craig Reed and all them. Gene Odom. And Gene Odom went out there with a guy before they demolished the Hell House area. They redeveloped it and stuff. And Gene went out there with a guy and took the old dock out and chopped it up into pieces and started auctioning it off. But they sent this one to me as a gift. I know Gene, and I've played with Artemis Pyle, their drummer. Terry's played with them. So Artemis actually signed it for us and sent it to us. And so this is like our good luck piece that we kind of pass around before the gigs for some mojo. It's really cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool, man. And it's got to be, I don't know how to phrase this question. It has to be different when you're celebrating the music of a band that prematurely kind of had to end its run. You know what I mean? Like, it isn't like, I'll use Journey because I'm the world's biggest Journey fan. They had a long run with it. They've segued out and segued in members, and Perry leaves and they bring in the Filipino kid and different musicians slide in and out. And you guys are carrying on the legacy of a band that was like near the top, and then the bottom falls out, tragedy hits, and then it's just done, right? There's no finished bookend to it. So you guys are kind of almost just an extension of the story,
Yeah, we're just trying to keep their music alive and keep it going. you know, and pass it on to the next generations. You know, we had a little girl come up on stage at the chalet last week, and we gave her a tambourine and had her sit down on the drum riser, and we played our show, and she sat up there with us. And, you know, and there was all these little kids at the show, and they were just loving it. It's just so cool to see them, like, you know, getting into the music, you know. So
and when we started it in 82, it hadn't even been 5 years since the plane crash.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going out and playing the clubs, and people were still loving that music and missing it. I mean, we started doing it 5 years before they got together again in 87, the tribute to it. So yeah, that you think about the 4 years that they were there. I mean, what a body of work. I mean,
yeah, it certainly leaves an impact that most bands don't get in 20 years. You know, that most bands never see. Skinner specifically did something in a very short window that nobody doesn't know Freebird. You know, nobody doesn't know Simple Man.
Sweet Home Alabama.
Nobody doesn't know Sweet Home Alabama. Do you guys ever get tired of Sweet Home Alabama? Like, are there times you play it and you're just like, can we leave this off the set list for a show or two? Could we just
love it?
No?
Love playing.
not the way you see when you see the way the crowd likes it. Nah, it never gets old.
Yeah. All right, I can see that. Are you guys going to combine the bands on stage for one song? Are you guys going to do anything together?
We kind of talked about it, but
our set's pretty long, and I don't know if we can, but if they'll allow us to go long, we will. I think we just haven't talked about a song yet to do together.
We can just cut out
throw a
Freebird
song
and do
together. We're not cutting Freebird out because our set is like probably 2 hours long, so it's a long set. So by the time we're done, I don't know if the theater will let us keep going or not. But
listen, just tell them, just look him dead in the eye and say, "Do you know who we are?"
Okay, I'm taking your advice.
Do you know who we are? We're going to play as long as we want. It didn't work out very well for Axl Rhodes. Okay. So again, listen, the big show this Saturday night, the 24th. Doors will open at 8. The show's at 8:30. Tickets are only $15 and up. Like literally $15 for 2 bands. That's like $7.50 a band. You can't even buy a pack of cigarettes for $7.50, and you're gonna go see 2 live bands for $15. Shut up. Go see the bands. They're gonna be at that
20.
What's that?
The day of the show, they go up to 20.
Yeah, get your tickets now. Don't be
so
cheap.
Get them now. Yeah.
And look, if you got your wife or girlfriend a really lousy Valentine's Day gift, this is where you make it up to her, right? You get tickets for the 2 of you to go to the show. You take her out to dinner at Burger King or something. You take her to the show. Burger King, yeah. Don't go all crazy. You're already married to her. Who cares? All right.
Heartburn.
So when you guys,
we're gonna have some stuff to talk about later. Now,
one of us is single. Guess who that might be? Okay. Guys, listen. I want to thank you for coming on and joining us for a little bit. I hope the show goes great. You guys are welcome back on here anytime. If you guys have any other events coming up, or you guys want to talk about what you did, or you guys got another show coming, I mean that for all of you. You guys are more than welcome anytime. We'd love to have you on.
Be great.
Thank you.
By the way, you didn't ask us, Journey or Queen?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, that's fine.
He was there for that one.
That's fine. Journey or Queen? Terry and Brian from Whiskey Creek. And keep in mind, if you answer this incorrectly, I might have to rescind my future invite. But go ahead.
Well, I already answered it when I called in and talked to you when you did 6 Gun Rebels. But I'm going to go Queen.
Whoa, I'm going Journey.
Thank God. You're now my favorite member of the band. Thank you.
Neil Sean rocks, man.
Yeah, he does. He's way underrated, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
I mean, they talk about the greatest guitar players in rock, and you talk about Satriani, you talk about Vi, you talk about Eddie Van Halen, but Neil Schon is in that space. I mean, he's not as good as them, but he's in that space somewhere.
He's in there, and he's on his Facebook page all the time, just playing, sitting on his couch on guitar, just ripping on guitar. It's really cool.
Yeah,
it's cool to watch him.
Really
good. See what he really does. But thanks again for having us on.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it. And if anybody wants to find out where we're playing, our website is whiskeycreeklstribute.com. And we have show dates on there. We're going to be pretty busy this summer, so hope to see you at a show. That'd be great.
And just in the cowboy hat, is that Terry or is that Brian?
It's Brian.
It's Brian.
Brian, I'm very glad you joined us tonight. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Carry on.
Thanks.
Carry on. Brent with 6 Gun Rebels. Brent, if people want to keep up on what you're doing and where you're playing, what's your guys' contact info?
sixgunrebels.com or Facebook/sixgunrebels.
All right, you guys. Hey, have a great show. Just blow the roof off the place. Show these people.
I think we will.
Show these people what real music is like, and that there's no auto tune, and we don't need it.
Yeah, and hopefully St. Paul is going to show up with his wife.
Yeah, none of you need to be dating a tight end from the Kansas City Chiefs to be relevant. You guys are going to be awesome.
You guys from the radio station that are coming to the gig, make sure you come up and say hi.
We will do that for sure. We will do that for sure, man.
Yeah.
Have a great show, guys. We love you. We appreciate it. Thanks for coming on and joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
All right, again, so don't forget. So Tracy to Movie House this coming Saturday night. Doors will open at 8. The show's at 8:30. Tickets $15 and up. If you wait till the day of, they go up to $20. Listen, that $5 is like a side order of fries, or maybe almost the whole price of a beer. So if you save that $5, you can spend it elsewhere.
Dude.
All right, so get your tickets.
I think a beer at Tracy's about $5
Yeah.
for like a domestic.
Yeah, so think about that,
nothing
right?
good.
You can get a ticket and a beer for $20 if you buy your ticket early, or you can buy a ticket the day of for $20 and not get the beer.
Well, you can get.
I don't drink beer, but get yourself a beer. And if you get your date drunk, she'll think you're cuter. True story.
Huh.
So we got to wonder: are
Kevin's
they
dating
serving
class.
black ring spirits there? I mean, that would be.
Do they serve black ring spirits?
No,
Oh.
no, I
We
got to
need to
work
fix
on that. They do actually, back on the beer bandwagon. They do serve my favorite beer though.
It might be interesting, as you go to these places. Like, oh, do you have any of this? Start requesting black ring. Like,
Well, so Phil, I
wonder if that works.
or Bob.
It does.
I actually ask all of my friends to do that. I'll ask them, hey, go into your favorite watering hole and order my liquor. I know they don't have it, but go order it. Because if a bartender hears the order enough, they complain to their bar manager because they're losing tips. And then the bar manager talks to the owner, and the owner makes a phone call. So, yeah, go ask for Black Ring Spirits,
Yeah, ask
even
for
though
Black
you're
Ring
not going to
Spirits.
get it.
Ask for it anyway.
Yeah. Well,
And
there's a few
listen,
places you'll get
and
it.
when you ask for black ring spirits and they say they don't have any, spit your drink on them, scream at obscenity, and storm out.
Oh, no, don't do that.
Do
No,
that.
don't
do
do
that.
that.
Do it.
I
I dare.
don't do
I dare you.
I was going to say,
don't
you
do
just
that.
like, oh, you don't have it, and you just get out your little flask. Like, I brought my own.
Yeah, but bartenders get a little salty when you bring your own liquor into the
Well,
building.
if they had the black ring spirits,
Whatever.
it's
All
the
right.
owner's fault.
Yeah, tickets are still available. The link was posted. Lori posted that in the chat as well. If you guys want more information, if you're listening to us on AM, try the internet.
And if you're listening to us next week, sorry you missed it.
Yeah, if you're listening to us on AM though, you can just go to the Tracy to Movie House Facebook page. Just find that on, or you can go to sixgunrebels.com, or you can look around. You can find it. It's gonna be a good show though. I mean, it really is. And I listen. I'm gonna sound like the old man. In my days, I had to walk to school, whatever. But music today is nowhere near like what music was in the 70s and the early 80s in the rock scene, right? Or even the 90s with
I was gonna
grunge,
say,
right?
you did kind of forget the 90s.
Yeah, the 90s with grunge too. I mean, rock really had like meat to it. It had
Some were called meat.
yeah, meat loaf. No, but music in the 70s,
Funny you
80s,
mention him.
and during grunge in the 90s. And I'm not a big grunge fan. Let's just be honest.
That's my wheelhouse.
Yeah, but that kind of music had chops to it. I mean, it had layers. It was complex. It was a deep sound. It had a lot to it. Pop music today, some of it's, I like a lot of music today. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't have the complexity and the depth.
Doesn't have any guts
as the stuff. Most of it doesn't know as the stuff that you'd get out of some of these rock bands that honed their craft in a garage. Artists now are crafted.
Yep. TV jingles.
I don't think I agree they're crafted.
A lot of music today is crafted. They don't have to hone their chops in small dive bars or in garages. They're found by record execs and they're paired together and they're manufactured and they're thrown out to do 2 albums and then you never hear from them again.
Manufactured, I agree. I think it's all slapped together in a computer. It's not. There's nothing organic about it.
I will tell you though, I'm not a fan of her music.
Her who?
But I think Taylor Swift is legit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have the same respect for Taylor Swift I have for Garth Brooks. I can't stand Garth Brooks' music, but I think he's a brilliant businessman.
Yeah.
and
a damn good entertainer. I've seen him
he's
live.
a great
damn
entertainer,
good
but
entertainer,
I'm that's just not my scene. But I have a lot of respect for him. I mean, I have the same respect for Tay-Tay.
How nice that we've gone full circle. We started out talking about Alabama. We're going to end the show talking about country music.
Okay.
And of course, without talking about the different music business, the independent records are still really good.
Oh, yeah. I still own a whole bunch of
what's
indie
one of the
records.
number ones on Spotify this last couple weeks?
I have no idea.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
I have my rabbit holes that I follow, and
Don't be a whap dog, it's a Yamaka, homie, no cap. Look at the graphs, look at my charts. You're blowing money on strippers and cars. You go into prison.
Ben Shapiro.
And Tom McDonald.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
Yeah, it is.
Like one of the pastors at church is like, "Oh yes, I've heard that. It's awesome."
and
I was like, "That's funny."
I've heard a couple snippets. I've heard some Tom McDonald stuff, but I mean, it's really not my genre.
He's pretty diverse though. He has his rap thing, but he has a whole bunch. Pretty well rounded, and his story is interesting.
Yeah, the only thing I know about him is a small handful of rap hip hop, stuff.
Yeah. Came across an interview with a guy, and he has a story.
Huh.
Yep.
Might be a rabbit hole to dig down. I love
Coming in-
music stories.
Coming in chat, Andrew Kennedy. Lori said, well, it's time I get something on the way. Kevin is right for once. Tay-Tay has a business model. Music is still last. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of her music, but she's legit. Like, she is this generation's Carole King.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
I think she's bigger.
no, well, bigger, but as far as being a singer, songwriter,
yeah,
storyteller, she's this generation's Janis Joplin. You know?
Okay.
I mean, not the
She's
same
a-
kind of music,
no,
but she's that.
Yeah,
she-
she's a billionaire.
and
she's
she's
that
that
icon.
big. She's that big because of the internet and because of social media and the ability to share. She'd be big, but she's huge because of all that.
Well, and she has a different philosophy. I mean, she really, I'm not a huge fan, but one of the things I like about her is that she really, really likes her fans. Like, she'll pick different fans, a group of 30 to come to her house and listen to her new album. And she bakes them cookies. Okay.
Yeah.
Show
listen, she's
show me
legit.
somebody that does
That's
that.
cool.
But hold on, but listen, she's legit. I really,
she is legit.
I don't know her. Like, I've
Right.
never met her.
Me either.
Taylor, call me. But
She's a
but
little
you
busy
you
with
just
Travis.
get the idea, Travis. You just get the idea that she's just a genuinely nice
Right.
person. You know what I mean?
Well, if she's staying that engaged with her fans to the
Yeah.
point where she gets that personal after this long,
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's even
Oh,
more
yeah.
to respect
She's good.
there.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean,
business.
that
Chandler
was one of
Kennedy
the
said she
biggest
looks like a
things.
2x4. Yeah, I'm not gonna body shame her though. That's not her fault.
Yeah.
She's just talented. She knows what she's doing. She
Oh, yeah.
caters to her market very well. She didn't pull what most of the Disney princesses do. When a Disney person grows up and they go through the whole Disney process and then they turn 18 and they lose their freaking minds, like Demi Lovato and Selena Gomez and all of them, right? Taylor started out
Hannah.
Yeah. Taylor started out very young in music.
Yep.
And the only thing she did was she moved from country to pop.
Yep.
But she's been pretty clean, pretty wholesome. She hasn't lost her
consistent.
mind. She
Yeah.
hasn't gone
Taylor
crazy.
Swift was a Disney.
No,
no,
she
but I'm
wasn't.
just talking about ones who get into the business that young.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of them with Disney. You know who else? Do you guys know who Bridget Mendler is?
Who?
Bridget Mendler.
No.
She was on Charlie. It was a Disney show.
Okay.
And she had a little bit of song stuff that she did for a bit. She's now the CEO of a satellite communications company that she helped found.
Wow.
Like from Disney to CEO to just weirdness.
Out of this world.
She paid attention at the board meetings.
Yeah, J. Andrew Kennedy, talented, sure. Lacking cheeseburgers, absolutely, probably. I mean, she doesn't look like that. She doesn't look like she's ever had like, a triple stack from Wendy's. She doesn't have any fat on her at all.
Wouldn't it be funny if she had
gained
one
her
every
woman's frame.
every couple weeks?
Every couple weeks. She probably does, and it takes her 3 weeks to eat it. And then she gets another one, and it takes her 3 weeks to eat it. All righty. We're going to wrap up on AM with you. We are going to go a little over on Facebook just because I want to. And then we'll wrap up there as well. So if you're on AM, be sure to join us Sunday, 8 o'clock. Outlaw Radio Network returns in its normal spot. If you're on Facebook, we'll be here Sunday, but we're not quite done. we'll get into some more topics.
Oh, yeah, I do recognize her.
Outlaw Radio. Stick around on Facebook, on AM. Have a great night. Love yourselves. And if you can't love yourself, at least fake it till you make it.
Love the one you wear.
Yeah, they get it, Corey Collins. The show Bridget Mendler was almost Good Luck Charlie. It was cute. I mean, my daughters were that age when it was out, so my oldest daughter watched that show, and it was cute. You know, Disney had some pretty cute shows. I don't really know what they're doing now because my daughters are older and they don't watch it. But Good Luck Charlie was good. And Bridget Mendler, she had a little bit of voice. Yeah.
The last Disney stuff I remember from when Isaac was a Bambino was Lilo and Stitch.
You guys ever watch Blue's Clues?
No,
Blues could do, we can do.
No, he wasn't a Blues Clues guy. He liked.
My kids are older than that. Thank God.
Yeah, I don't think Blues Clues might have been out, but he was like a baby Einstein and Lilo and Stitch kind of kid.
Flying through the sky, little Einsteins. God, I never wanted to kill a hamster so much in my life.
Oh.
In that moment, I thought, Richard Gere, you're responsible for this. Damn the gerbil.
Maybe that's what it is.
Damn the gerbil.
My ex was a huge Richard Gere fan. That's got to be what the motivation was.
You know what? There's not very many actors or actresses that I will go out of my way to watch a movie they're in.
Okay.
Harrison Ford, probably. Any Harrison Ford movie I'd probably watch.
Okay.
I might look at a review first.
But I can't think of any.
Sean Connery, I mean, rest in peace. But yeah, I was a huge Sean Connery fan.
You know what Sean Connery would be doing if he was still alive today?
SNL.
I know.
Let me out! Let me out! Hey!
That's so bad.
Oh, but the SNL Jeopardy skits with
those are hilarious. Those are hilarious. And then it was Burt Reynolds was Buck Futter. Remember that? Yeah. No, that was Sean Connery was Buck Futter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
God save the Queen. Have you seen the meme where there's like there's on one side of the page there's Sean Connery saying God save the Queen, and then there's a picture of Queen Elizabeth being shaved by a little caricature of Jesus.
I remember that bit from Saturday Night, the Celebrity Saturday Night Live and SNL, where the category was pen is mightier, and Sean Connery was like, "I'll take the penis mightier." Sure you will. Sure you will. All right. I don't know why Paul does this. He leaves and then he doesn't come back.
He said he had a phone call.
Whatever.
Or the hamster that's running his modem might have got tired.
Chores.
Whatever. Isaac said, so we're talking about Lilo and Stitch, huh, Dad? Janer Kennedy, did the Blues Clues dude die from an OD? No, they're all still alive. They just did a reunion episode with them. I didn't see it, but there was a write-up on TV Line or one of those entertainment sites that they actually had all three of the Steves.
Oh, there's multiple Steves.
There were three Steves. Yeah, there was the original Steve, and then there was this pedophile-looking Steve, and then there was this Asian Steve, and then they had all. It was kind of like when they brought back all the Spider-Mans into that one movie, the Spideyverse or whatever. Yeah, they brought all the Steves back.
What do you mean pedophile, Steve?
He looked like a pedophile. He looked funky, dude.
It's like multiple Karens.
Yeah. Jander Kids, Paula's busy on OnlyFans filming some horse stuff right now.
No.
Yes, he is. All right. Anything else you guys feel like you need to talk about? Anything?
I do.
Well, give it to us, Bead Girl.
Whoa. Slow your roll.
Come on, Bead Girl.
So there is a oh gosh, now I lost my thought. There is a new bill that's coming out in Washington State.
Mm-hmm. I'm just a bill.
Well, it's okay. It's in committee or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, if I remember correctly, it was on Brandy Cruz today. They're talking about effectively taking away your kids if you do not agree with any type of reproductive care, gender assignment, the bill is stating that the kids will be removed from your house.
But they've already done that, right?
No. They've said that the kids can go and be somewhere safe and the parents don't need to know. Now this new legislation is proposing that the state would actually come in if a kid reports at school that their parents aren't in favor of reproductive care or gender assignment surgery or anything like that. Even if they haven't had a conversation with the parents, the child can say that. The state will come in and take the child from your house now.
That's not overreach at all, is it?
No, not at all.
No.
Well, as Paul would say, we shouldn't be surprised.
No, I know.
It is the progressive of what we've seen out of Olympia the last 10 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
The gradual erosion of parents' ability to parent and the gradual assumption of responsibilities by the state over our kids.
Okay, but where's your anger? Come on. I mean, my kids are adults. I can't even imagine trying to be a parent in today's world.
My anger will sprout if it becomes, if it gets signed. I can't get mad about every law that's proposed because there are so many laws that get proposed that we know are bunk and that don't go anywhere. And if I had to sweat all of those, I'd lose my mind. Where I will get mad is if it actually passes. That's when I'll get upset. But as of right now, I'm going to choose to believe stupidly, idiotically, naively, that this will go nowhere. That it'll be shot down in a blaze of glory, and that'll be it. That's my hope.
Okay.
Okay. I have a story for you guys. Unless do you have a story, Tom?
I don't. I'm just thinking, not getting. I don't know what I'm thinking. The state causes my brain pain.
Okay, let me read this to you. And Phil, I want you to pay attention because I'm going to ask you about this too. NASA has put out a request for 4 people
who
will live and work in the Mars simulator for 1 year. Let me read this. This is off of CNN because CNN never lies.
I read this article.
The Mars
Simulator.
Yeah.
For anyone who has ever dreamed of living on Mars, NASA is seeking potential Martians for a simulated mission to the Red Planet. The space agency has put out a call for applicants to its second planned CHAPEA, or Crew Health and Performance Exploration Analog Mission, which will begin in the spring of 25. For 1 year, a volunteer crew made up of 4 people will live and work inside the Mars Dune Alpha at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston. The 3D printed habitat, 1,700 square feet, is designed to resemble the living quarters of a crew of astronauts that will land on the Martian surface in the future. Understanding how a crew reacts to the challenge of a deep space mission is essential for planning how astronauts will explore the Red Planet. Inside Mars Dune Alpha, participants will grow crops, maintain their habitat, exercise, carry out robotic operations, and go on simulated spacewalks. And they will face real issues such as equipment failure, communication delays, environmental stressors, and dealing with limited resources. The application process is now open and will close on April 2nd. Here's what they're looking for. Non-smoking, healthy citizens between the ages of 30 and 55 who are proficient in English. Applicants should have a strong desire for unique, rewarding adventures and interest in contributing to NASA's work to prepare for the first human journey to Mars.
That's it.
So would any of you do that? Because I'm really thinking about applying. Here's our qualifications. You must be a U.S. citizen. You must be between 30 and 55. You must have a master's degree in a STEM field and have at least 2 years of related professional experience in a STEM field and be able to pass a NASA long-duration flight astronaut physical. The master's degree requirement can be met by 2 years of work towards a doctoral program, a completed Doctor of Medicine or Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine degree, or completion of a nationally recognized test pilot school program. So I can't apply. But if you guys could, would you do it for 1 year?
Do you get paid?
I would assume so. I mean, I can't imagine they'd have you work for a year and not make any money. Would you guys do it?
I don't know. I mean, it sounds like you're on the.
If you're in the chat, tell us if you would do
Recall movie set. Remember Total Recall?
But 1,700 square feet.
1,700 square feet
for 1 year.
4
With
people.
3 people.
4 people.
No,
what, three
other
others?
people.
Yeah, so 4 people.
No.
Yeah, 1 + 3 is 4, Lori.
Oh, no.
The men are talking. Shut up.
Shut up, Kevin.
1,700 square feet, and
There's
you've
not
got to
enough room.
fit your crops and everything else in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell no.
Nope. Not enough room.
Hell no.
I would do it in a heartbeat.
I would lose my mind.
I would kill somebody.
They'd open that.
I
They'd
have
open that
kids.
thing up in a year, and there'd be 3 severed heads and me.
I have kids, so I couldn't do it. But I would totally, if it were spring of 26, after my youngest is graduated, sign me up. I would gladly do it, Phil.
Wouldn't you be too
Probably
old?
wouldn't go. I mean, unless, the other, half of the group there is me and my wife. And then I don't think I'd want to go because 1,700 square feet.
With crops?
With 3 other people?
And crops?
No. There would.
Well, I
there
already
would-
prefaced it would be me and my wife and 2 other people. So
even if I took my wife with me, there would be me and 3 severed heads at the end of a year.
1,700 square feet's not bad though. I lived in a house
for a year.
Not a house. It's
No,
your
no,
whole
but I lived.
space.
But I lived in a house. Let me finish what I was saying. I lived in a house that was less than 1,000 square feet, and it was a 3-bedroom house. It was less than 1,000 square feet with two other roommates.
But you got to leave.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that was less than 1,000. So you would add another 2/3 of that onto it.
No,
it'd be fine. I'd be totally fine.
I don't live in a big place now. The place I'm in now is, it's 4 people, and it's under 1,700 square feet. But I really just go there to sleep. Otherwise, I'm out in the world. I'm doing things. I'm seeing other people. I'm busy. I have stuff to do. You get the same 3 people and the same stuff to do day in and day out for a year.
Heather said, "Babe, you mean skulls?"
Yeah, severed heads, severed skulls, whatever.
Yeah, I would totally do it, man. I would for a year. Look, I look at where my life is at today. I would love the change up.
Oh, that'd be a change.
If my day job would give me a year off to go participate in the NASA program, I would do it in a heartbeat. No. I would leave my mark on society. I would do something for the greater good. I would benefit our culture and our universe.
I'd end up in prison.
Yeah, I was gonna
I'm not really having helpful thoughts, Kevin. I'm so sorry. You would leave your mark, and this is why the project failed.
J. Andrew Kennedy said, "If Tom is coming with me, I'm in. We'll find something to drink on that bird." And then he says, "Tom, this is our life now. We both have needs. Let's not make it something that is not."
What did I do?
Good question too. Is like, what would you be doing for a year in this? I mean, it sounds like it'd be all, it'd be like being on the ISS.
Yeah. But you're raising crops. Again, let me read this to you again. Here's what it says.
You also got to make your own oxygen and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be
in 1,700 square feet.
There's going to be system failures. You have to, they're going to manufacture system failures. You've got to fix. I mean,
actually, you got a good point. You have experience in escape rooms.
I do have experience in escape rooms. No, I just think that'd be great. I can't believe you guys are not more bold about that. But listen, I'm the guy that would get married at first sight.
Yeah, you are.
I would go on that show in a heartbeat. If they were like,
I think you should.
I can't.
Go on the show.
They never come to Seattle, and I'm too old.
Oh,
I've never seen anybody in their 50s get married on
really?
that show. No.
Oh, I thought there were.
No.
A couple.
No, they're in Denver right now.
Okay.
Boy, those are some dysfunctional people in Denver. Let me tell you. And I've been to Denver. I spent 6 weeks in Denver for training for work. Beautiful area, but those people are weird.
Seattle, but cold.
I would do it in a heartbeat, man.
Denver's not weirder than Florida.
I don't know. I've only been.
Florida's pretty cool. Well, there are some areas.
I've been to Florida. Technically, I've been to Florida 3 times.
We're just on Facebook right now, right?
Yeah.
There's some weird shit in Florida.
There's a whole county that says that Trump is still the president. They've got all the Trump stuff up and everything.
More power to them. That's where all the alligators need to go.
Yeah, and hey, I was born in that state, so I'm
Oh, okay.
I'm not
You're well versed.
Yeah, I'm not talking smack or anything with it. bunch of weird shit in that state.
I've been to Florida 3 times. Drove to Pensacola once, and that's not really Florida. That's more like Alabama. And then I went to Orlando, got on a cruise ship, got off the cruise ship in Orlando, and came home. So that's been my extent of my Florida experience.
Yeah, most of what I remember of Florida, because I mean I left when we were young, but most of what I remember of Florida, I've gotten by transplant, I guess. People that have.
J. Andrew Kennedy said, "Hey Tom, pump this thing. It'll make oxygen. I promise. It's also good for your skin." J. Andrew Kennedy, can you do a show with us one night? Like I know you'd have to do it remotely, but could you work it out with Tom? You got to follow the FCC rules, but could you do a show with us one night remotely? We'll just throw you on. Paul. We'll kick Paul off for a night and we'll let you replace it.
I keep looking for Jay, like on Facebook, to send him a friend request or something. Because we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't you guys know each other?
No. Jay Andrew, we've never met.
How does J. Andrew Kennedy even know of this show then? I thought he was a friend of yours.
No.
We've never met.
No.
How did he come? Jay, how did you come across our show?
Wow, the show's growing. Don't ruin it.
I know. Don't act surprised. What? There's someone in the room we don't really know? Anyway. All right.
Florida.
That does beg the question about Tom. This is our life now.
Clearly, Tom's got a fan.
Oh, yeah. Every night.
But is it his
Tom
only
wearing
fan?
boots?
Well, I thought he knew Tom.
No.
That's why I thought he always made those comments.
No.
I thought him and Tom were like buddies from way back or something.
I mean, the way he's talking, I mean, he knew Tom.
Prison rules.
I've never been to prison.
Me either.
I'm not judging.
Or jail.
Me
I've
either.
never been incarcerated.
I gotta say though, if you're in Seattle and you're flying to Florida, my only advice: do not take the red eye. Okay, just don't.
That's true for the whole East Coast.
Why?
Just don't do a red eye to the East Coast.
Because my only trip to Florida, we landed in Orlando at 7 a.m. East Coast time, which of course is
early,
way too early for the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
I don't drink coffee. Everybody else on that flight was over-caffeinated, and over-caffeinated Columbia coat wearing man from Seattle decided our luggage wasn't coming out fast enough. We're in an international airport. He went through the little plastic things.
Are you serious?
Oh, yeah, he did. And the guy standing next to me, because I had one of my bags and then the bag thing broke down and they were trying to fix it. And the guy next to me, he goes, as soon as your bag comes out, he goes, find an elevator, get out of here. He goes, I am former Alphabet Soup. They are calling, the FBI, ICE, everybody. They're going to be here in 2 minutes or less. And he was dead right. I got my bag and the surfer guy's like, well, I don't know which way to go. And I'm like, dude, get in the elevator with me. And there's this woman.
Get out of Dodge, man.
There's this woman in a blue windbreaker. And she's like, sir. And then there's this group of men with guns, big guns, following her. And they are looking for the guy. And they've got him detained. I mean, even the naval officer who was saying goodbye to his family, who was hanging out with his brother's family. I mean, you can hear everything. He took off when he saw that guy. He was like, I have to go report to base now because of that. And he goes, don't wait for your bags to get out of here.
You do not want to F around in airports. You just don't.
No.
And don't try to be funny and talk about explosives or things just to be funny. I mean,
so what you're saying is if you do F around, don't find out.
If you F around, you're going to find out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
they had
don't
him on the ground in front of his kids.
Did you guys see the video of the guy that tried to open the door on the plane a couple days ago? There was a guy that tried to open the door on a plane in flight. It had just taken off. Trying to remember where it took off from.
Wasn't one from Portland?
Albuquerque. It took off out of Albuquerque.
Should have
Was
turned
this
left.
like a Tide Pod challenge or
And
what?
I don't know. And they tackled him. They duct taped him.
Oh, yeah.
They used zip ties on him. I don't know where the duct tape and zip ties came from on the plane, but
Standard issue. And the
Probably-
flight attendant.
probably
kit.
the flight attendants probably had it. But that's some crazy stuff, man.
Oh, yeah. Because is it still normal practice to have at least one air marshal on each flight?
No.
It's always an unknown.
Okay.
Sometimes there is.
Sometimes
they're not.
Okay.
I'd love to be an air marshal and just fly all day. That'd be great.
I remember after 9/11, it
Oh,
was like
every
every
flight,
flight.
yeah.
Yeah, but look what we've done since 9/11. We relax everything. You know,
sort of.
We've relaxed everything,
Except for TSA.
and we pay attention to stuff that doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Take off your shoes. Fuck you. Take off your shoe. Stop. What? Okay, I understand not having box cutters. Okay, that no taser. Okay, I get all of that. Take off my shoes because one moron tried to do a shoe bomb and couldn't even light it. Are you serious?
Yep.
It should be enough to walk through the frickin' metal detector.
Or would our libertarian-minded people be like, how about we just have 2 lines for 2 different planes? The ones that have all the rules and the ones that are going to get there quickly.
I like that idea. You assess the level of risk you want to operate under.
I will gladly pay to ride on the flight that's not going to blow up, but
it just costs you more.
We are so dumb about the stuff we pay attention to now.
Yes.
Like we waste our efforts on the things that make us feel better instead of actually doing anything that helps. Hold on. Lori's pointing at the device. John said he was an ex-pilot who lost it temporarily. Is that the one from this week, though, John? Because I know there was somebody a couple weeks ago or a month ago that did that.
Yeah,
there was one like yesterday or the day before out of Albuquerque that did that.
Wow.
Yeah. Junior Kennedy, I can do that. It will have to be a remote connection. That being said, I do travel a lot. Honest, this shit show showed up during COVID randomly, never left. Just trying to make sure Tom is monitoring his man card. But we have also had butt sex, very gay, but very butt sex.
What?
In his dreams.
I don't recall that, but whatever.
Oh, we should have Junior Kennedy on the show. That'd be great. And Junior Kennedy, if you ever travel to Seattle, man, if you're ever out here in the neck of the woods, man, we'll bring you in studio, put you on the air. Yep. You could be an axe murderer for all I care, and you're probably less scary than Tom, so it's all good.
Oh,
it's all good. All right. The other thing we talked about, I'm just going to put this out for the listeners, see if you guys would support this. We have discussed if we can make it to 180 days. We need to update the board, by the way.
You're right.
If we can make it to 180 days of not breaking any FCC rules, we need to figure out what our reward's going to be or a punishment. And I suggested today that we do a 24-hour broadcast marathon.
Yeah.
Tom thinks that should be the reward if we make it to 180 days.
180 days. Yeah.
Now, I can't guarantee Dennis or Phil would run the boards for 24 hours. Maybe they would.
They could do it in shifts.
They could do it in shifts. Phil, would you be willing to participate in a 24-hour broadcast?
Suppose it depends on what 24 hours and what other things are scheduled.
Well, we would have to plan.
We'd have to plan it accordingly. Like we'd plan it out enough in advance where you'd know it wasn't
And knowing this group, so we're planning for 2026.
No, it would be this year. It would be this year.
Only
he's so optimistic.
In fact,
Paul's going to ruin.
In fact, hold on. What is 73 days from now? Hold on. What is 73 days from now? No, 180 days. We got to make it another 73 days.
Oh, sorry.
So that would take us to that. Oh my God, that'd be May 4th, which means we could do Labor Day weekend.
Memorial
Day weekend.
I won't be available then.
Why?
Because
where's your priorities, man?
F-Bomb's birthday is the 27th of May.
Do you think I give two shits about F-Bomb's birthday? I never invited her to parties. She doesn't invite me to nothing.
We always do something for her birthday on that weekend.
Plus,
so I wouldn't be available.
Yeah, she'll be doing something for her birthday. It's called a 24-hour broadcast. Happy birthday.
Oh, I know I can get her to show up for the broadcast, but I won't be available during that weekend.
Hold on. What about... So that's May. So there's no holidays in June. We need a holiday weekend. Because we're going to need time to catch up for it. If we're up for 24 hours straight, we got to be able to plan when we're going to catch up on some sleep and get rested back up.
Come on,
don't be a ninny. Just drink plenty of Red Bull the next day.
I don't drink Red Bull.
Start.
Okay. We'll do it I was trying to look out for you guys. If we do it on a 4-day weekend, it doesn't matter for me because I have Mondays off. And I get a 4-day weekend every other weekend. So I'm not worried about that.
I own my own business. That means I set my schedule. I'll sleep when I want to sleep.
Hold on. So hold on. Let me look at my calendar. Let me look.
Woo! F you.
Who said that?
What do you think?
She has so.
You should not be talking like that to Tom in the chat. Heather.
She was
Come
talking
on.
to you.
She's talking to Tom.
No, she's talking to you.
She's telling what's going to happen when he gets home.
Talking to you.
All right.
No, she uses
let me go
other
to my
words for that, I'm
calendar.
sure.
While you're looking at your calendar, I just found a fun song, about, staying out late, right?
Mm-hmm.
I stay out too late. Got nothing in my brain.
Oh, get this off. Turn this off. All right. We could do it the weekend of May 17th.
Okay.
May 17th is a Friday.
That's assuming we make it to 180 days.
Yeah, assuming we make it to May 4th. We could do it May 17th. We could do it on May 17th, which is a Friday.
Paul, don't let me down.
We can start at noon on Friday.
Okay.
And go till noon on Saturday.
That'd be ridiculous and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could ask some of our favorite restaurants to donate food to the cause.
I'm bringing my own air mattress.
Okay.
Okay. We'll ask Harbor Hot Dogs to donate some dogs to us for some free props. We'll ask the pizza place downstairs donate some pies.
We need sustenance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phil, what do you think? Free lunch, free food included?
I'm still checking.
Can you imagine how awful we're going to be at 5 o'clock in the morning when we're just drained? We've been talking for.
Oh no, I'll be waking up.
Oh, you're not going to do the whole show?
I just said I'm bringing my own air mattress. I'm taking a nap.
Oh, I thought it was so you could give a bead demonstration,
No.
Tom.
I'm thinking that.
Oh, bring your pop-up doll, Kevin, and then we
my
can.
what?
Your blow-up doll.
Oh, I don't have a blow-up doll. You know what I want to do, though? I saw this as a meme on Facebook, so I'm stealing somebody else's idea.
No contest that weekend.
I want to buy a whole bunch of blow-up dolls and fill them with helium and release them all at once so people think the rapture's come.
I've done that at a bachelor party.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, you have blow-up dolls just floating around the room. It's pretty funny.
God, I want to do that so bad.
How many hot dogs?
I'm still waiting for my Funko Pop.
I haven't. You know what? I went to the Funko store a couple weeks ago, and I should have done Funkos there, but there was a big line. So, but I'll go back up again. I do want to get Outlaw Funkos.
Same thing happened to me when I went to the urgent care the other day.
Same thing. Funkos, urgent care. I do want to get Outlaw Funkos.
There was a line, and there was no one at the front desk for like half an hour. I'm like, this is not looking good.
Yeah, the problem is I don't know when I'm going back up there.
That's quality medical service right there.
Yeah, that's why I'm going to head to Gig Harbor next time.
Oh yeah.
So you know what I think I'm going to do Saturday?
What?
Because I normally work at the escape room on Saturday mornings.
I was going to throw an invite to you, but I hadn't had a chance to talk to you.
Oh, well, what's the invite? Or is it private?
I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not private.
Okay. Well, I was
pal around with Phil for the morning.
Somebody suggested that I should walk the Narrows Bridge.
Which one?
Oh,
okay.
The Narrows Bridge.
Washington Narrows, Tacoma.
No,
Narrows.
Tacoma Narrows.
Okay, that's why I asked.
Sorry, I forgot about the Washington Narrows, and that's not much of a bridge. But somebody suggested I should walk the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, and I thought, well, I've never done that before, and I've always wanted to.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll go down and do that.
I can only imagine doing that if my car broke down. There's no reason I can think to.
No, I think if the weather's nice, the view will be great.
Mm-hmm.
There's also a really cool waterfall over across the Hood Canal over kind of by Brennan that I thought about driving out.
There's a lot of waterfalls.
Oh, there's some real pretty waterfalls over there. Some of them you have to hike back a ways.
Yeah.
Although I've been told don't go chasing waterfalls.
Yeah, please stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. Boy, that was a worthless band. TLC was awful, man.
Speaking of bands, this lady is a bass player. I got queued up here.
Oh, okay.
Out of India.
Oh, an Indian bass player?
Holy moly. Funny thing is, her dad wanted her to be a bass player, the story goes, and she's like, I want to be a fashion designer. She's a bass player. She listened to dad.
Yeah, that's some talent right there. Okay, a couple other comments from chat before we wrap this crap up. Kevin Nelson said, I saw a video of a fist fight on a flight in the middle of the Pacific Ocean the other day. I'd love to be on one of those flights when it happens. I'd love to watch it.
Would you?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want that kind
You
of
do realize you cannot open the door of a plane that's in flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because there's too much air pressure outside.
Right.
You're not strong enough.
I was going to say Alaska Airlines had a little something to prove that not the case.
Well, you don't have to open the door. They'll suck it right off for you. Speaking of sucking things off, don't forget Lori's beads.
By the way, J. Andrew Kennedy said he or she will be here in August in Washington.
Said he might be. I hope he is.
Oh. Hey, we got video too.
It just reminds me of the beginning of Night Court.
Which one, the original or the new
original?
One?
New one's okay, but it's not nearly as funny as the old one.
It's like her voice isn't squeaky. It just doesn't work.
No. She tries to. They try to make it too cute. All right. Other comments in chat. Jamie Kennedy sounds amazing, but if you didn't have anything better to do, you'd play bass for your Indian dad. Okay. And then he also says he with PP grew up myself. Congratulations.
Thank you for clarifying.
Janice said it shakes a bunch, the Tacoma Narrows, but cool. Andrew Kennedy, how many hot dogs can Kevin eat? Chewing the hot dog is the key. Thanks for that bit of knowledge. Heather says, no, I've invited you. You're always busy. I don't think that's true. I don't know why you got to lie. Kevin Nelson said the Outlaw Radio Network MD8 telethon. Trust me, I've thought about that.
No, radiothon. Radiothon.
Radiothon. Sorry.
Could, hey, I mean, that's a joke, but we could actually turn it into a fundraiser for like South Kitsap Helpline or Relay for Life.
Which is in June. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah. Well, I mean, figure out what you want to raise money for. I'm totally fine.
What do you want to raise money for?
We could have special guests come in.
More trips to Vegas.
Oh, right? No. If we decide and actually we may need to wait, not do it in May, because if we don't even get there till May 4th, we're going to need time to organize and let people know and consolidate, invite people to be a part of it.
You're not going to plan ahead, assuming Paul's not going to screw it up?
No, I'm not going to. Because think of all the phone calls I have to make to let people know that Paul said the F word on the air again. Congratulations. Knock yourselves out. 10 days out before the event. By the way, we're not going to have it because Paul can't watch his potty mouth. I don't want to do that. But yeah, no, that'd be great. I mean, I'm sure we can get Brandy Cruz to call in at some point and say hello. We can get,
I bet we can get quite a few interesting people.
Yeah, we
if we were doing a fundraiser like that.
Yeah, we would get a fundraiser. Okay, so who should we fundraise for?
I
was going to say,
that can be a deeper conversation.
Maybe we could fundraise for J. Andrew Kennedy's Michigan Wolverines so they can actually afford to hire a real coach so that Jim Harbaugh's left.
Oh,
I'm going to wait for a response now.
I was going to say,
J. Andrew Kennedy, I tried to get Kevin in Vegas and he bitched out. No, I didn't bitch out. I mean, I had to have leave available. I'm going to Vegas in April, J. Andrew Kennedy. Are you going to be there? I'll be there the 18th to the 22nd. So why don't you just be there? I'm going to be so drunk that weekend. I swear to God.
Don't call us.
If we do a relay fundraiser, at least, we know we'll have the buy-in of some team members and possibly their sister and other people.
And her niece,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
who is the president of my fan club, it appears.
Yep.
Well, I mean, Relay for Life is something that we've kind of already hitched our wagon to. So it would make sense to just keep going with Relay.
But we could split it 12 hours for one, 12 hours for another.
We could, or we could make it an annual event. And this year it'll be.
Now you're singing my song, man.
Yeah. This year it could be Relay. Next year it could be, I don't know, the Holly Ridge Center.
We could bust out Outlaw karaoke again. We used to do that where we'd play instrumental tracks and make people sing with them. We could do that. That'd be great.
Oh.
We make Tom sing.
Oh, Tom's got to be opposite of sober.
No, you know what we'll do? We'll do suicide karaoke.
Oh, someone else chooses?
No, it's even better than that.
Oh.
Everybody picks a song. They write down the song and you throw it in the hat and then everybody else to draw out of the hat.
Oh.
So whatever song Lori picks, if Tom pulls it, he's got to sing it.
We did something similar to that when I was, no, it wasn't similar to that.
And I'm going to pick some crappy songs, man.
So I'm not an accomplished karaoke singer.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. When I was going to college, karaoke had just become really popular.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like every bar in town, every night, there was karaoke. Of course, no cell phones at the time. So I would meet up with a group of
no
my
video.
Right. What I'm really getting at is no way to track down your friends. So we would all agree that we were going to meet at bar whatever at 8:00 or whatever. Well, because we couldn't track each other down, the rules were be punctual. So if we said 8:00 and you showed up at 8:02, you were singing a song.
Yeah.
And
somebody
and
else chose.
Someone else chose it. I was late once.
No, we're totally going to do
Yeah.
it.
What was your song?
You make me feel like a natural woman.
I've sang that before. I've also sang I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. I've also sang It's Raining Men. Hallelujah. It's Raining Men. J. Andrew Kennedy said, not worried, get ready, go blue. At this time, I'll be in Vegas July 15th to 20th. Going to bitch out again. I can't be there that weekend. It's the weekend of my family reunion.
Just to have the reunion in Vegas.
And my birthday, yeah. I mean, that would be during my birthday. And the 20th is my mom's birthday, and I don't know how many more birthdays we'll have with her. So sadly, I got to pass.
Always pray for one more.
Always
just one more.
Be lucky if she makes it to this one, the way things are going.
Same with drinks. Always just one more.
Always one more. I'm going to be so drunk in Vegas in April, dude. And I'm going to call you guys from Vegas on the phone using because we can use StreamYard on our phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to call in from Vegas.
Most people can. Paul can't. But
I'm going to use StreamYard from Vegas on my phone.
He's not here to defend himself.
It's going to be hilarious if you're drunk and you
I'm
can
gonna
call
be-
in
I'm
on
gonna be
your
drunk.
phone and Paul can't make that
And
work.
it's a great thing that we're going to be past that April date. We've already will have made our 180 days because I'll be drunk. Who's going to know? But I can't even predict what I'm going to say. Jane Kennedy said, for the record, Vegas sucks ass. No, it doesn't. Vegas is amazing, man. I love that place. I'd never move there, but I love that place.
Yeah, it's great to visit, but when you're done in Vegas, you're done. It's time to go home.
Yeah, I mean, I can't do more than 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I'm
4 nights is like it for me.
Yeah, I've done 5 and it was too much. I'm usually good.
I've
with
done
about-
6.
I'm good with 3.
I've done 6 nights before, and that was
Yeah,
that was a bit excessive.
I'm good with like 2 days or 3 days, 2 nights.
This is funny. I actually beat Kate out at something 2 weeks.
In Vegas?
No.
Would you go for a convention?
We drove a truck down that was in a convention.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
in November, the SEMA show.
Yeah, I couldn't do it, man. 2 weeks in Vegas is too much. I mean, now I'm lucky that one of my best friends lives in Vegas. So if I had that much time, I'd spend time with him, and we'd go do some hiking out at Red Rock. Or we'd find ways off the strip to spend our time. But you could not. I couldn't do 2 weeks in Vegas.
I could do 2 weeks if it was like a spirits convention or something, and I was down there actually working.
Yeah.
Where you're distracted with the convention for 8 hours or whatever. You go goof around for 2 hours afterwards, and then go to bed.
You ever go to the Hoover Dam?
No, we tried to go out to the Hoover Dam one night, but the road was closed. It was blocked off, and then I've never been out there since. And I've been to the Grand Canyon, but never from Vegas.
I've never been to the Grand Canyon. Went to Hoover Dam.
So they do helicopter flights out of Vegas.
Oh.
Maverick Helicopters takes off from the airport, and they land at the bottom of the rim, and they give you lunch, and then they fly you back.
And that's affordable.
$400. It's pretty.
I said that's
I was
affordable.
gonna say, after looking into like cruises out of Seattle, you get the international cruises. They're actually pretty reasonable. Domestic, on the other hand, holy crap!
Domestic cruises?
No,
there's a U.S. based, U.S. staffed cruise line that goes out of Seattle that does a Puget Sound.
hell no.
Yeah, like the cheapest is like $4,500.
Yeah, they're called river
per
cruises.
person.
Hell no.
They're called river cruises, and there's another river cruise that operates in the Mississippi River, which looks amazing. Like you go to Memphis and New Orleans and just up.
I think you pronounce it's Narlands.
Yeah. But it's massively expensive. I was looking at a cruise that went from Seattle through the Panama Canal to New Orleans, and it was about $2,100 a person in a room, not a balcony room, but not an interior room because I won't do interior rooms. But it's not bad. It was a 16-day cruise.
That's not bad.
It's when you're international and you don't have to pay your people much.
Yeah,
it's
well,
cheap.
and plus you have the other difference is how many people you can get on a cruise ship as opposed to those river boats.
Yeah,
when the cruise ships you're putting 15,000 people on there.
Yeah,
the river boats you're getting 750.
I mean, there's some people that like live on the cruise ships. They got it all planned out. Sell the house.
Yeah,
it's because
that's
actually
their retirement.
and it's actually
cheaper.
affordable.
Cheaper that way than than
J.
a
Andrew
mortgage
Kennedy.
and
Yeah, okay, let's get trapped on a big boat with people shitting on plants. No thanks. I did a 10-day cruise out of the Caribbean fall before last, and I've never had more fun. I mean that trip was amazing. It was especially when somebody tried to sell my mom cocaine in Jamaica.
What?
I didn't tell you guys this story.
No.
So my mom, for those of you listening at home that don't know my mom, which is all of you, she's a dual amputee above the knee, so she's in a wheelchair, and so she didn't get off on a lot of ports.
Right.
Some ports required tenders, which she can't get off on a tender, so she didn't get off in the Bahamas. But we stopped in Jamaica, and she decided she wanted to get off the boat for a little bit. So we get her off the boat, and I'm wheeling her around, and we go through the little custom space there, and then you get off, and you're actually in port or whatever it is in Jamaica, Ocho Rios. Is where we're at, Ocho Rios. And there's this guy on the other side of the fence as we're going out. He's like, hey. We go, what? It's like a cigarette? And I'm like, oh, no, we don't have any. No. Oh, you want a cigarette? Well, like, no, marijuana. No, really, no, we're good. And looks at my mom, dead in the eye, and says, cocaine?
Your sweet little mom.
My sweet little mom.
Your mom's awesome, but
She is. Oh my gosh. I need the expression.
I don't know if I see your mom doing a bump of
Nobody
coke.
said cocaine. No, we both said no to cocaine. And I just thought.
Yeah, but what was your mom's look on her face?
Oh, she was shocked. It is still the best story ever. It's still the best story ever. This 75-year-old, 76-year-old woman with no legs in a wheelchair getting wheeled around. And he didn't look at me. He looked at her.
He looked at her.
Cocaine?
You want a bump?
He probably figured she's about the right age.
Jennifer says, I want to do the mystery murder dinner.
Oh, those are amazing.
Oh, they have the
They used to do it on
mystery
the train. Do they still do it, or did it stop at COVID?
Well, I think it stopped during COVID. They have one that goes like from Mount Rainier down.
Yeah.
Rainier's still trying to get their train system up and running.
I know they had one that ran around. It was the same train as the Christmas train that you do along Icicle Canyon there in Wenatchee and stuff. They did a murder mystery thing.
Yeah, I did one, years ago in Puyallup. It was hilarious.
Oh, they're fun. Have you ever had?
Because it was different groups, and so our group was told to dress for an Irish wake.
Oh,
and
are
then
you serious?
And the group next to us
No.
were told to dress like they were a biker gang coming to a wake. So, I mean, it was hilarious.
That reminds me. You know what a wake is, right?
Yes.
It's when you're not asleep.
No.
Have you ever done one of the murder mystery games where someone just buys the box set and you have all your friends?
Yeah,
oh, they're
those
so
are fun.
I have friends of mine
We
from
could do that
church.
during 24 hours.
Friends of mine from church do. That's what we did for New Year's Eve. Is we did a murder mystery, and they decorated their whole downstairs to make it look like a cruise boat because the theme was you're on a cruise ship and somebody got murdered on the cruise ship.
Oh, it's fun. We did the last one I did. I had to play the part of Otto von Schnaps.
Well, that fits.
Yeah.
All right, I guess we should wrap this up.
Yes,
We've
we
gone
should.
way late. We're like 45 minutes over now.
Yeah, we are.
And nobody's bitched. Like Phil hasn't said anything. Dennis hasn't
I'm
said
ready to
anything.
go. Dennis got a good nap in, so he's good.
Did he? All right.
I have to go grocery shopping.
Do you have any parting shots for us, Bob Ross?
You know, I should always remember this part's
I
coming.
got work to do. Get out.
He's awake now.
To quote Grandpa, get off my lawn.
Dennis, you had a parting shot anything you want to say? Did you hear the breaking news, by the way?
What?
About your team?
What?
According to ESPN, the San Diego Chargers have been eliminated from the 2024 playoffs.
San Diego doesn't have a team anymore.
They'll always be the San Diego Chargers to me. Suck it.
Hey, when I lived in San Diego, I mean,
Washington is always going to be the Redskins. Did you hear they're getting sued, by the way? Did you guys hear about this?
Oh, they changed their name back?
Yeah. The Native American group is suing the Redskins saying, you can have all those. The person on the Redskins helmet was a real person.
Yeah.
We want that back, and they're suing them. It'll never happen. They're a private entity. They can name their team whatever they want to, but I think it's great. All this bullshit that Native Americans everywhere were offended at the name. I'm Native American, and I was never offended at the name. But go ahead, Philip. Dennis, parting shot.
Preach it, man. I was just going to say, hey, take some time to be nice to someone tomorrow. Just one person.
Yeah, I like
you can
that.
go back and be an asshole to everybody else, but just pick one. Be nice to someone.
Did you hear our plan about the radiothon?
I did.
Would you be a part of that? Would you be a part of the team for that?
I'm sure I'll be a part of it.
Could you do 24 hours with us is the question.
I'll bring bacon.
I doubt it. I might have a spot next to Lori.
You and Lori going to share an air mattress? All right.
Yeah.
I'll bring Red Bull.
We'll bust that on camera for sure.
We need a keg.
Okay.
Here we go. Kevin Nelson might be doing a radiothon now. Oh, yeah. Kevin Nelson should come down for that, actually. J. Andrew Kennedy, I miss Trojo's short stature. Where has he been? Prison. Margie said, I dealt blackjack for 10 years in Nevada. Old days, single deck. Yeah. I mean.
Ooh, single deck blackjack. Single deck. That's how you make some money.
Kevin said Trojo might be hiding under the table in prison. Okay. Lori, parting shots. Oh, sorry, Phil, what?
I was going to say, funny story. These last 5 minutes, we've actually gained a viewer.
I know.
This late in the game.
Listen, people like us when we go. Wait till we do the 24-hour show, dude. It's going to be so cool to watch that timer, to watch the clicker. You know what I mean? To see the number of people that are watching this. Because you know that at 4 o'clock in the morning, nobody's going to be watching the show. It's going to be us talking to ourselves. But at some point at like 4:35 in the morning, we're going to gain a listener. We're all going to be like,
it just dumped, 1,000%.
It'll turn into a drinking game for us. We got a new listener. Take a shot.
God. I might get kicked out of church. All right, Lori. Parting shots.
I like Dennis's idea. Be nice to someone tomorrow. Try it.
Just one person.
Just one person.
Be nice to yourself.
Or five people.
There you go.
Self-care, too.
All right. Tom, parting shots.
I challenge anyone listening to go read an article in the news that you wouldn't normally read, something that's from the other camp.
Mm-hmm. And he's not talking about your Pornhub account either.
No.
Stop it.
No. And leave my Pornhub account alone, please. I haven't finished checking out the entire site.
In the immortal words of Dr. House, porn, it won't download itself.
No, I'm gonna steal Lori's thunder
Porn
and just
is
say
so
go read an article that you would not ordinarily read from a publication that you would not ordinarily give a second glance. Because you might learn something.
Okay. My parting shots are as follows. One, go check out the big band gig on Saturday at the Tracy T Movie House.
Yeah, I plan on being
$15
there.
tickets if you get them in advance. It's going to be a great show. You're going to have fun. You're going to have a good time. You might dance your ass off. You might be able to burn some calories, man. Knock yourselves out. You're not going to look as good as K-Dog, but who does? Secondly, I guess I'll jump on what you guys think. Just educate yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't vote things because the media tells you to. Jennifer says, with me, I'd have to be mean to one. That's more of a challenge. Okay, Jennifer, that's your tip. Just be a bitch to somebody tomorrow.
Just one person.
Video it. We want to see proof, but just be a bitch to somebody.
For no good reason.
Just when you go to the coffee shop to get your coffee and they hand it to you, look at it, look them dead in the eye and say, well, you fucked up.
And then leave. Yeah. Take it with you. Don't make them redo it.
Yeah.
Just leave them scratching their
take
head.
your tip back out of the tip jar and then leave. Take your tip out of the tip jar. So put a really good tip in there. Look them dead in the eye and put like a 20 in there. And then when they hand you your coffee, take it, reach back in and take that 20 back out and walk out. I dare you, Jennifer.
I think that might be theft after that.
I dare you, Jennifer.
Yeah,
I dare you.
like the collection plate.
All right. And then lastly, we'll be back on Sunday. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Have a great night. Be nice to somebody. If you love somebody, tell them you love them before it's too late. Good night, Gina. I love you. Good night.